to Sharif.
Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every day. Neil's here, Sean's here, they're locked, they're loaded. They're ready to take the names as decided by you during the midday show. To make sure to catch that with Adair and I every day and have your vote. Get into the chat and vote. As you can see here, bad day for the triple Qs, bad day for the chips, and mostly a bad day for the Mag 7 names, mostly in red territory, save and except for Tesla and Amazon, both trying to stay in positive territory. But this is not indicative of the entire futures market. The ES is green. The Russell awfully strong today relative to the NQ. Good rotation there. We saw hints of that come in last week. The Russell was up about 2 1/3% on the day at the highs. Unsure what it's at right now. Nvidia, though, like I mentioned, the chips awfully weak today. Did get a nod from earlier in the week, but this one, as you can see, that big down move, consolidating here a little bit. What's the look on Nvidia, guys?
Well, back, it's red.
Yeah, Nvidia is my #1 stock. So we could talk a little bit about that if you guys. I don't even have my mic on.
The mic isn't even on. Look, man, it's contractually obligated that if you don't give us a mic check, then the mic is either going to be muted, it's going to be off. Just very quickly, Nvidia 127 looks like a bit of a thing. I'm short Intel right now. I can get to that in a quick second, but support to resistance looks like it has been the jam. You're down 2 points into a market which is essentially, for all intents and purposes, is going to be flat. And across the board, you're seeing weakness in the chip names. So, down 1 point here. I'm only short Intel because it was the support to resistance that I got, and then now a lower high. So I like things that are trending into the downside. So short there and short there. Nvidia is a lot of the same story, where you fail that support, and now it's trending a little bit lower. So 2 points. I don't think it's complete disaster unless we lose. When you go to the daily, we can't do the daily chart because it's not really split adjusted. I don't think it's a complete disaster in this stock as long as you're above that key 117, which I still have the line on it. So I think it's a healthy pullback up and until you get that level. But yeah, support is now gone at that 127. Unless you get back above, I think the chips are short this afternoon. Although ARM was kind of relatively strong, weirdly.
So just so you guys can get some context here, Nvidia is going to be the #1 P&L name here on all shows. And it's just shorting here. Shorting into VWAP. There it is right there. Nice push up. We waited for that trade. We got it. And then we got it good all the way back to the end of that trade before going long down there at 125 and then out back at the 50-period moving average. Look, we knew we wanted to do this. We want to short weak names. Today with the NASDAQ being down 0.3, Nvidia's down 2%. So we started to go short there. Then, trying to go long off that bottom, we did it. Went to the 50-period and then out. So right now, Nvidia is still a short, but guess what? We got a new instrument. SPXL right now as we've been trading the TQs. Now we're going to go triple spiders. So we trade the TQQ. I checked it. You know what? My #1 stock this month, futures, the TQQs. Right there. So big time trading over there on that one. So now we'll put SPXL into our pipe and try to smoke it. We did get a stop out right there and went back in. So right now, good move on SPXL. So we're short SPXL and Apple. You shouldn't have to guess which way I think this market's going. All right, Sharif, go tell them about Palantir and throw it right back over to me.
I was going to say, Sean, you might want to go to the bathroom now. I don't know. But yeah, Palantir down today marginally, 0.71. It did get a bit of a backhanded, it wasn't an upgrade at all. It was actually a lowering from buy to neutral, but they did actually upgrade this one or increase the price target from 21 to 22, basically citing overvaluation, saying that it's run up 63 some odd % in the year and it's due for a pullback. We'll have to see how it trades. Definitely not really affecting it much though today.
We already came in here. We gave Adair, for putting it on the watch list. But it was great that she did that because look what we wound up doing right here. The sticky note was all about Palantir, right? We had that written down here, 2750. We talked about a level that we liked, 2750. Pick it up on weakness. Right there for Palantir. So what did we do? Neil, this is picking it up on weakness right there, right down to 2750. The sticky note level taken all the way to the upside. And we got out at 28.12, so that was about 70 cents. We have the bottom of the day there. Then we shorted. We shorted against this high. At that time, I believe it was the 50-period moving average. Otherwise, I'm not sure why we would have been shorting right there. Made some money, and then eventually lost some on the way back out as we broke higher. Palantir, by the way, on that downgrade, got green today, and we put that in the chat when that went green. So we upgraded that thing when it was down about 3% or so right there, and now it's battled all the way back. Congratulations to everybody who bought the dip in Palantir forevermore.
Never, ever more, forever, ever, forever, ever. And look at Palantir is going to make that big rally. At the end of the day, you know, it was down 2 points at 7 a.m., I think, right when we were looking at that list. And had it continued, certainly that can be a good catalyst. But if you're only talking about upgrades and downgrades and nothing technical, I think you usually want to stay away from it. I'm not in Palantir. Great look for Sean to be in it. But I just want to go over, like, Rivian is all the way back at 18. And higher, thankfully not short. We shorted it this morning and got away from it. Rivian, Lucid, Tesla, all three of these names are running to the upside. 3.5 points to the upside currently. As long as this holds 18, I think a test of the top is certainly possible here. Market's weak. These names are certainly looking very strong. So you got a little bit of a breakout happening here on Rivian. And the other one, Lucid's not even on here either. Lucid making a similar break off the $4 level. 10% to the upside for Lucid. We were just mocking this thing yesterday in the afternoon, and suddenly Lucid not looking so bad after all.
Tesla up 0.75% today, one of the only names that's actually green in Mag 7 world. Here's the headline. So they're looking at hiring up to 800 new employees. Kind of startling there because they had one of the biggest rounds of layoffs in their history a few months ago. Most of the jobs being said to be in the areas of artificial intelligence and self-driving. So I'll have to keep an eye on Tesla, but one of the strongest names today in the tech world, guys.
It'll be, we can't tell you that we have all the top P&L names. We're not talking about the top least favored P&L name. And that is Tesla today. I mean, this was going to be the reddest name again on the desk. So we'll have a little bit of both. As it falls right in right here, this will be the only name. So we only have one name red today, Tesla, out of all the names we've traded. So we're doing pretty good on that, but it just kept on falling down. We wrote down 252 as a support level. Why did we like that level? Quite simple. Yesterday, we nailed it right here. Made $7 to the upside on Tesla yesterday and give it back today as it just keeps on falling. We kept on trying to catch a falling sword. The best thing that I can learn, first of all, Fed Kugler speaking in 30 minutes.
That guy.
It's actually a girl, Neil, but that's okay.
I have no idea.
I've never seen her before.
I'll
but there it is. Yeah, so there it goes. Nice downside move anyways. We did get stopped out. Once we got stopped out, we were like, okay, let's just figure out what's going on. We got a couple green candles after that, then executed the long, and we're lucky enough to get back into that. So good move up there for Tesla. We got some out at 250. That was $3, but we only wound up making back like 20% or so of what we wound up losing. So huge move to the upside now for Tesla. If we just held our 252s, fine, but there's no way. Like that went down to 246. So again, love Tesla, love the stock. I think we want to still go long as long as we're above 250, but definitely slipped that one up on, which was on, of course, the sticky note today, 252. And as I zoom out, you can see it quite clear. This is where we liked it. So all of these buys are fine. I'm fine with it all the way down to 250. It's all of these ones that don't make much sense to me. So we'll, we won't journal anything, or we probably won't even go over this because we know where we went wrong, and it's pretty easy. And I haven't journaled in 17 years, maybe.
No way.
No, I don't journal. I mean, I look back and I look at some ideas. To me, I don't know. I mean, it's good for some people. I sit here right in the moment and make the trades, and I look back at them. So I do. I would say, like, when I'm looking at charts, I definitely look at different strategies. I mean, you guys have seen me adjust so many strategies over the years since we've been here to get elevated. So I'll look at the charts and all that stuff, but by journaling, I mean, like, I don't write it
actually writing it down.
Yeah, like I will make some notes. Like, I do have some notes here that are not on these official sticky notes, where I write down 50 period this or that, or cross this, or golden cross that. But generally speaking, I just I try to do what I try to do. And yeah, Tesla, I won't have too many second thoughts about that other than stay patient. And if something falls against you, maybe give it one more try, but don't give it 2 or 3. Yeah,
I think ultimately, like Tesla, I went over this in the lesson of the day. Like, what sometimes like the top idea, you might not get the exact look that you wanted. So Tesla, the last couple of days, you can see it on the daily chart. Look at the wicks above the 260 level. So you had multiple failures above that price. And, you know, I kind of had fail 260, open, look short. Well, it failed underneath 260, but it didn't actually press up like it did the last couple times. So up here, you have a press higher and then a fail, a press higher, then a fail. It didn't get anywhere near $260 and that upper range. So we didn't take anything into the short, and then talked about how that kind of FOMO'd me into a long. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades, where effectively I'm 1 for 5 with one flat trade. Like 3 losing trades, 1 winning trade, 1 flat trade because I did get some scalp profit out there. So I'm exactly flat on Tesla at the end of the day. This wick is unreal. It has not gone to 262. This is now trend up with the other EVs. I already talked about how Lucid is strong and Rivian is strong, and Tesla is also strong. So good reversal. And this morning we had said, if it holds on to yesterday's close after this rejection, that would be a good sign. To reject those wicks on the daily and then make a lower low wouldn't be good. But it's done this, so you had a higher low at the close and a higher low at the close. If it can do that again, then I think you're at least forming a bit of a wedge of consolidation as opposed to just making a top there on this daily chart. At least you're forming a bit of wedge of support if you can hold on to this 252 close. That's going to be key for Tesla at the close today.
The SPY up next, guys, and the SPY is the one we're going to look at right now. It's up about 1/3%, but it was that 57. It is that 5,700 level on the ES September contract that's been an elusive target to take. We've been above it today, still using it though as a general resistance level. Keep your eye on that. As I mentioned at the top of the show, it really is not reflective in futures world what the NQ has done today. You have the Russell almost 3%, high 2%, the Dow up aggressively as well. And you can see here the ES in positive territory. Sean's trading the SPXL. What's the look, Sean?
Very similar to the spiders. We said we did the research and looked back and tried to figure out, because often you're sitting on the floor and you're trying to trade and you look down, and today, although I only have 6 or 7 names, or 6 names, I think, and we'll have a pretty good record on those 6. It's hard to keep track of them. So our software here at Real Trading will do that, no problem. So basically, for right now, what was that, Sharif? Oh, I don't know. Sharif was saying something about
yelling.
Some news. Okay, yeah, it's okay. All right, so right now, 161.20. I just wanted to say, I was looking at the difference here, and the NASDAQ is down, and the ES was up. So I kind of thought instantly, and I know this goes a little bit against what I normally like to do, I just thought some of these highs right here were going to get respected, and we were pretty right about that. We didn't get that blowout top right there. So I just wanted to short. I started the short at VWAP and then coming into here because, again, when I'm looking at the futures, I think about what's included in them. Obviously, we have a big bank rally here today. Well, I don't know if it's big or not.
It's pretty good.
I don't really, some of the names are nicely up. I think XLF being up 1% probably constitutes a nice move there. So a lot of the banks holding it up. So I just felt like if there was a retracement over there, the SPY would be a good opportunity. And like I've mentioned before, we've been trading a lot of the futures lately, and I prefer the TQQs. So I went over and I just did a little bit of research, and thanks to Bears vs. Bulls, who mentioned it to me in the chat as well, that he said SPXS because he wants, a lot of people want to go short versus long. And again, here at Real Trading, we don't have capital issues with buying power or anything like that. So I'm just going to trade the SPXL, the long ETF here, which is obviously much more expensive. Easier for me to do this. I'd rather be short when the market's going down. So right now we'll do that. And just so you guys know, the market's pretty good, but relatively flat here for the last hour. So what I'm going to do is I do have a piece waiting down here at 70. So I'm actually at 73. And I realize I just use the most expensive gateway. Like whatever one's going to pay me the most is what I use, because this is very, very, it's all algos. So I'm probably the only human on this right now trading it the way I'm doing it. So we'll just sit there, let it run us over and work from there. So that's that. It's not that price specific. I really like the SPXL. So right here, let's go. We're now bidding right here, 73s. Let's see if we get hit. Our bid is right there. And you see how it's kind of slow moving, right? Like you get some gaps in here all the time. So that's part of the trick that I'm trying to figure out. What's up with all these gaps? and it's just a spread. So we're going to sit there and hopefully get run over. I don't think this is a scalping product. If you're going to scalp, 40 cents. If you're going to scalp, I think SPY probably better, a little more liquidity. But here we go to the downside here on the futures.
Yeah, I'm gonna point out something, and I know Michael Noss had a name for this on the daily chart. It's something to do with like tweezers, or the idea. It was like tweezers with these wick tops, like multiple times up on the SPY. Like you get this same high that it can't seem to close above, and it's been every single time we wick up there. You get to 65, and you close back underneath. Today, it's holding above this 562, which is the spot where you haven't had closes hold above it. So this would be a break of this kind of like rejection of the top and trend back into the upside. So it is worth watching at the close. Like the only big SPY name, I mean, Amazon's like a couple of points on the SPY, like 4% or so. So that's the one I like today. And I think for obvious reasons, like if you look at, when we look at things that are up at the top and why sometimes it can be good to be looking at equities and have a bias in the equities, when you think of that high being made in the overall market, okay, well, what's relatively weak? It's like 4 days in a row to the downside on Amazon since the Bezos 200 level. So, you look for it to go right into resistance. It was a short at the top. It was a short and a lower high. I then kind of stopped myself out flat, in and out. Times you do it, but then went back into a 193. I'm just looking for the next available short in this name, which I think could be back in the 193. It's every single time shorting the pops in this. On AMZN. But let's get to what I think was a nothing burger. I'm surprised to see DJT not, Lucid and Rivian are powerhouses today. And
Let's go.
A lot of those Cathie Wood names are doing really well, but DJT made the list.
Yep.
Like Pac W's.
That's a Cathie Wood name.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, let's go back to Sharif.
Yeah, DJT, the last on the list here, Neil. Big move up to start the week, giving back some of it today, down 7.5%. But this was a headline today. Trump Media, which is the parent company of Truth Social, said it entered into a standby equity purchase agreement with Yorkville, under which Yorkville agreed to purchase about $2.5 billion worth of Trump Media common stock. The company also has about $350 million in cash as of July 1st. Important to note there. So keep an eye on this one. We'll watch this one towards the end of the day. This one had a nice move towards the end of the day yesterday.
Okay, so
nice move for the shorts, I suppose. Okay, yeah.
Go ahead. I didn't trade it.
No, like it tanked. I was going to say nice move. Yeah, it tanked like $4 going into the close yesterday. Look, I had the short in here. We had one short that worked. We had one short that stopped out. So relative to yesterday, where look, this was my worst stock, but I'm down like 1/10 what I am on it, what I was yesterday, and it just didn't do anything. I wanted the consolidation breakdown. It gave the consolidation one little push down, reloaded off VWAP, and then nothing. But it wasn't, apologies, it was not PAC W. It was PAC B that I was saying PAC B was having a strong day. So just a bit of a correction there. 35% Cathie Wood name. Cathie Wood is having a fantastic day today. I mean, the year, probably a different story.
Man, I'm glad we took that phone call from Cathie earlier today. I mean, look what's happening right now. Market just falling down. We're now 80 cents in the money on the SPXL trade. And then I would just want to talk about Apple before we went over to that, just because I was going to say we just took something out at the 50 period right there. And now we just touched down into 70s, and I didn't even have a bid out there. So we do now at 75 for Apple. We're short at 20. Hey, Sharif, this was I sat down. I went out, we got the iced coffee, and then all of a sudden I'm looking for shorts, and Sharif's like, I think he calls this one the dead one, as it goes all the way back up to the upside right there, 234.30. He's like, it's approaching VWAP. I'm like, yes it is. And then you sit in there and take the trade. Look, this is that journaling that we're talking about. I sit here and I have a plan. It's already here. If there's a stock I like, we're going to short it into a level, we'll do that. Do we get run over sometimes? Actually, not that often. How we get run over is by poor risk management, which we put on display today with Tesla. But you know what? It will still be a green day for your boy, and it's being helped out right now by these plays. So, all right, DJT, you want to talk about that? Sure, let's do it. Down 8%. I mean, we know where this is going, right? It's coming back here. It's coming back to $30. I mean, obviously the events over the weekend, does up, apparently. I mean, whatever. I'm not a pollster. We can't even vote, Neil. I don't know if people know that. We are located here.
We're Canadian.
Yeah, we can vote in much more important elections, of course. But yeah, right down in there, $30. I just feel like you're eventually getting here. I think if you're looking for a long, you probably want to wait into that area. But after that, $36, $37. I mean, it looks like it may want to hold. You can use that bottom wick today of 36 for something. But, you know, it just is one of those names that's going to, you know, revolve around news. So that's kind of the trade there with DJT. The market did get down. So we just got a 75 print there on Apple, and we are almost out of Apple. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of that one, as it is starting to go back down. AAPL, not now coming back up, but we only have 10% left.
Wow.
So we'll wait to see if for a possible reload. Although the futures trying to get above the 50 period, I think I would reload this one in and around here again. Let's see. Now our stop was 31s on this trade. So we just had an 11-cent stop and took 50. So 5 to 1 there. Pretty good ratio. Let's do it again.
Camp low. Let's do it again. I love
low. Yeah, most
people know Camp Low for Lucchini. This is it.
Fettuccine. Oh man, fettuccine is a great pasta.
No, let's do it again is like another one of their like hidden gems. That's old school, man. Like if you guys from the New York area and you're my age, then you know all about Camp Low. Get that low, but get higher Rivian and Lucid. Ooh. So I have this flat trade, which I'm trying not to FOMO myself. Got in and out flat at 18. I flipped, got away from the short, and was looking for the longs because Rivian, look, market's not exactly super strong, and Rivian is holding this high. If it gets to 19, we still think that's resistance, but there's a long way before you even get there. So next available dip, I do want to still be in the Rivian long. So super strong name. It's got the little bit of consolidation happening right here at 1820. So let's see if we can take the stairs to the upside. This is strong. Lucid is strong, but Lucid already up 10 points and doing the same pattern. I just feel like Rivian has a little bit of catch up to do. Oh, bye-bye. Tesla's about to break 256. They're all going higher, those EV names.
In that field.
Yeah, I got to get in that field. It's getting bullish again with the EVs. There was a piece of news. There was like I thought Sharif mentioned, I went to look for it and I couldn't find it, about China and imports. But I felt like there was something there, but I don't see it on Benzinga. I could have heard wrong, but I'd swear there was a story about Chinese imports this morning. Either way, they're all really strong. Tesla, Rivian, Lucid. Right now, I'm looking at the Rivian trade, holding this 18-20 area, looking pretty good to the long side. If the market pops up, I want to short the pop in Amazon, but Amazon just did a run of the low of the day, so we're going to have to let this settle. It just made a wick bottom, so 193, maybe the 192.80, wherever it happens to curl. Next available pop, I want to short it. Amazon, looking pretty nasty.
Look, I have to look at it in a minute if I haven't looked yet. You guys know we love dimes around here, and we just took a little bit out for Apple. I think this market wants to go. Feel pretty lucky that we got that pullback. I mean, if we get anything into 2233, we should take that, but I'm going to try to hold now. Put a 233 out there. Remember, we have a 10-cent stop, 11-cent stop. So to take it 1-to-1 on 10%, I feel like is fine. And if we can get back into here, then that'll be groovy as far as that is concerned. We only have 10% left of our SPXL, actually less than that. What am I talking about? But we did have that stop out right there. So, you know, it's just like, just stopped out, like basically made the high there in the future. So, you know, there we go. And there goes Apple right now. So it's too bad, like we don't show our net there, but net, we basically right there lost next to nothing on that trade, considering what we had made here. So we'll lose 11 cents on 90% of that last reload. Meanwhile, we were out of 90% of it all the way down here. So good trade there on that, but does blow higher. We do want to make sure that we are in some longs. I mean, we nailed Shopify this morning. Shopify will be my second. No, it's not. My bad. Apple just took over. So there we go. That's how I know I made money. Apple took over Nvidia as my number one P&L name. So that's there. But this should be it. This should probably be it. We talked about a 68 break there. It did float back down into the 50 period, or into the 200, which was 67.14. So our out there at 67.50 saved us. But Shopify, a great name, great stock there today. Something to look at. Tesla just keeps going. I mean, we were long. It's embarrassing that this will be our only red stock today when it's at the day's high. But this is what Tesla does, man. We talked about it. Could get pumped today, especially if the market goes. Well, now the market's going, and the pump should be going as well. Tesla. Oh, what I want to talk about was this too. You know, Starbucks, I mean, look at this. It was low. Shorty got low. We talked about this early on, about what that level was. We even zoomed it out. When Randy was here, I was like, Randy, I mean, come on, man. What about the 71 right here? And then all of a sudden, you know, boom, to the upside. You're now $4 in from that low. There's many other names that are exciting like this one, but still, $70 name, you could have got $4 on right there. And I just wonder if it's the same for Nike. I'm not sure which one I really want to layer
Nike,
into. I think I'd rather buy
same, but it was good.
Yeah, Nike's still up 2. So 2% there for Nike.
Not bad.
71 to 73. Yeah, so not bad.
The actual crap recovery name today that was big was Boeing. Boeing's 4 points to the upside today, although I feel like this move is done on Boeing. Like the market's inching higher at the same moment that Boeing's finding a top. So it's not, and look, when Boeing has reversed in the past, it's gotten really nasty. Like its worst down day was actually its strongest morning. It go back into the 8th. So it gets right into that same resistance level and is turning around. So I think there could be a pullback happening over there in Boeing. But if there's one thing, like I said, I want a weak stock on this pop. I don't think you'll find many things that just broke the low of the day. So if they're going to get a refill, I want close to 193, reload in Amazon if we can get it. So just have to be patient. Not really looking at that Pac B. You're starting to slow down. All of a sudden, Rivian's holding the high and Tesla's making fresh highs. So there was a point where they were doing something similar and they were all going up, Lucid, Rivian, Tesla. Now you've got Tesla going and it's doing so without Rivian making a fresh high. So it just seems like it's got to be Tesla in here. This is a real wick off the open, by the way. Although I don't respect that too much. Like the real resistance is right here at the 257 level. Tesla looks like it wants to punch through. I'd rather look for a dip buy because the dip buy has been much better. The consolidations by the dip, there was this one break here at 254 and that turned into support, but all the other high breaks haven't been any good. It's been all about buying that next dip. Buy the dip, buy the dip. I think maybe off of this high here, 255.5 to 256, if it pulls back in there for sure. Rohit Sharma likes Dell. I haven't looked at Dell all day today. I haven't looked at AVGO either. I feel like that's been we're all excited for that split, and then it hasn't been that exciting. Dell, down 1.5 points. Yeah, I don't like this on Dell at all. Dell broke that support, trend support underneath the 50 period moving average. Shoot, that looks like a short back into this 138 level. We charted this support level saying, hey, Dell's been a great buy off that level until now. Yeah, Dell looks pretty darn bearish. It's not a lot of volume. Volume's kind of trash here on Dell. But yeah, that looks like a breakdown and a break of trend to the downside. Sorry, don't see anything I like there.
Well, we see things we like right here. We're short Nvidia. I mean, okay. Hopefully this can come in. We will try to take a bid here on Nvidia into the 60s. We're short right now. We're just short right here at 90s. So it just went into 71 or something for 20 cents. Let's see if we get a little bit more here. Unlike Broadcom, I mentioned to you guys, as soon as Nvidia splits, it'll probably be a top P&L name for myself. And that's exactly what it's been since that's happened. And it's going to be my number one name today as well. So we'll short it. I mean, I didn't even have to switch my stop order. I already had it in for this break because I knew I wanted to get out if it breaks VWAP. So we'll start this trade. We'll get a lot more shares if it does come upside. But right here, I'd say we're in about like a third again, kind of what we want. So, you know, we'll scalp out a little bit if we can and just stop that 72. Maybe we put a bid there. Looking honestly for something in here, 50s or 60s. I think that's well worth it. Again, this is just on this part of the trade. If it starts to go down, we will have to hold, right? So I'm going to try to be out of probably about half of it if we can get into the 50s by that time. And then if we do fall, like we've been making these calls for the last couple of days, where we're looking for stock to fall in the afternoon. Let's see if that does happen again here today. We still are in our futures short, so that's something that's still trying to work for us right here. Let's go. there's 20 cents, right? I mean, it's 20 cents right out the gate right there for Nvidia, just a quick little scalp trade right there. So again, stay with the names that you're trading the best. And right now, like I told you, this is be one of them. My other one, we nailed Amazon today, like literally 196. This was, again, another sticky note idea. Thank everybody for paying attention to that because today it was great. I feel like it was one of the best days that sticky note in a while. Nice move there. We nailed Palantir, and we definitely had this Amazon trade. We even gave the stop up to 197. We wanted to be patient, which is why we got it at 934 or 5, but it was there available earlier. If we would have had a little bit more oomph, we could have taken a little bit more up there, but we were too busy watching out for Tesla. But anyways, there's the 196 short. There's the cover at 193. That's like 250 and change. So that was a big trade. And right now it continues to fall down. That is Amazon. All right, so it's Nvidia. I'm bidding something in the 60s. I just told you that if we can get it something, one more piece out in the 50s, then that'd be groovy. Right now, man, it's just really, this is what it is every afternoon for myself. It's, you know, find out where you are net-wise. And then honestly, if you find a good trade that you feel like it's worth putting some risk into, we'll definitely do that. But we don't want to make stupid trades just to make trades. So we're there. We're making this one. I like the Nvidia short. We just took out a little bit. Let's see if it can go even lower. Riot and Mara. I mean, I'm just glad for crypto, to be honest.
Crypto's making a good move. You're almost at 65,000 on Bitcoin.
Booyah.
You get to that point, you know, obviously, look, there was that pullback. Odds are Trump's going to win. That's just a reality. And there was that label that now he's, you know, crypto friendly. So that's going to be a big boon. Obviously, that's just a momentum play. And it's not the only thing breaking higher. I can't believe this is true. I haven't looked at any weed names until about 5 seconds ago when a couple people in the chat were like, hey, have a look at CGC and Tilray. I did get Amazon. Amazon's pulling right back in. So we did reload on the position board. Maybe it'll take a second to refresh. 192.59 on Amazon. It just refreshed back into. But CGC just broke out a double top. The volume is not great. It's a little bit light here on CGC. But if you pull out the daily, this would be day 2 of a bit of a start of something off of the bottom. It's more about where it's coming from. I don't know where it's going to go. Typically, it's a fade on these types of moves on CGC. But as long as it's got momentum going into $8, you get a secondary push. You just want the volume to pick up here. Unfortunately, it's not anywhere near what we saw. Like at the close, it was that massive spike yesterday on volume. You're not getting too much continuation volume-wise, but a continuation nonetheless in the stock price. So I'm looking at that and Tilray, but neither one of them maybe as exciting as what you're seeing over in EV land. The EVs are doing way more volume, relatively speaking. Tilray in here, there you go. Like kind of a quiet story here for TLRY.
I feel like a little Mob Deep. I'm just a quiet storm. I mean, we're getting ready to get blowing up right now. We're going to take another bid here on Nvidia. There it is. We'll take those 71s. I canceled the 65s. Honestly, it just keeps on bouncing off 70 here. So let's just do it. It's 20 cents. I mean, I'm not. We want it. We want a lot more than that. You know what we want, we don't always get. So let's wait to see if it does make this move back down in here for Nvidia. You know. Not the day. I feel like the day was a lot better earlier. You know, you got to make sure that you keep that money around if you make sure for only good opportunistic trades, and I think that's what we're going to look for again right here. So I just have scanners up. We talked a little bit about that with Sharif. You can go get Trader TV 20 on trade ideas to try to look for different opportunities that you want to look for. I mean, I know that sounds ridiculous, but that is what it is, right? It's just find the opportunity. Go for it. And that's when, you know, back testing things. Like I've looked at these 200 period moving averages in VWAP. Why we have the confidence to put on trades, you know, and then try to understand where I'm wrong and where to get out. My stop is already set up here, you know, so I already know that I like Nvidia to the short side. We're going to try to find some other names like that. Let's go to DraftKings. DraftKings is a name. I'm always thinking about some ARK names because they're really the ones moving around a lot. Today in the last couple of days, especially with some of these rates, we've again talked about it on the recap show. We've talked about it on this show where that IWM is breaking out. We talked about that with Michael Noss. We'll talk about that with Brian tonight as well. ARK, we looked at ARK earlier. I mean, I purposely last night tweeted this out, and it was just looking. Or was it last night or this morning? I think it might have been last night.
The top
July
10.
15th. Yeah, right there, the top 10
NCLA.
holdings, right, of Aunt Kathy's, and it's Tesla. So that's huge. I mean, she's been, and again, I feel like this is where, not being related to Kathy Wood, I feel like this is where we have some stuff in common, is where she's confident with her plays. I mean, there's no doubt. If you ever hear her talk, she can justify all these plays that will make you think that they're going to the moon, to the point where Bitcoin has a 500, I mean, whether or not they're unrealistic, that's a completely different story. We're trying to get a little more realistic ourselves. But Bitcoin to 100, 200, 500,000, 5 million, crazy calls with Tesla and all that, but it's the conviction that she has. So, we'll try to trade with a very, very similar conviction here, and I feel like that is what we're doing. There goes SPXL. We got out of our last 10% for flat, so fine by me. Nvidia having a little bit of a problem. But again, now we're trying to get back up into VWAP again for the market. So I'm feeling like this market's not a short anymore, which is why we're getting out of the names that we're short. They're starting to push in. We've already taken that profit. When we get out of whatever trade we get out of, we'll be at the highest spot we've been at all day. We did lose everything we made on the morning in Tesla, but the fact that we have Apple, Amazon, Palantir, Shopify all back in, and Nvidia, it's given us that greater than 0 day, and those are always nice days. Okay, so Nvidia's making that move back up, just so you guys are aware. Our stop is 126.50 with a take at VWAP. So if we can get some more shares, it's not going to be until around here. My price is actually 40s. This has come down a little bit. I'll still 40s. Wait a minute. My stop is 50s, so we got to take something a little ahead of 40s because 10 cents will run you over immediately. We got to take something into here. It should be 30s, not 40s. So let's adjust this 126.30 to get more shares of Nvidia. So good thing we got out of a piece. We got out of about 25% there. Looking for another piece at 50, didn't get it. We're going to reshort Nvidia up here at 126.30 with our plan of action to get out slightly above VWAP.
Yeah, the last The last of the shorts, maybe. We'll see what happens here. It was a pop right back into our support level, what was previously a support level on Amazon, which was 192.80. You get this wick up above, came right back in. I got 68s. We're going to try scalp out. But this is, even though it's trending to the downside, the market's just got back into the high. So if it breaks this trend, do not want to fight it. And if you go from not the early big massive wicks in the day, I find when looking at the gentle trend on the stock, the parabolic move at 9:30 tends to skew things a lot of times. And then if you look at after things settle down, it typically, a lot of stocks will then hold a gentle trend. After it's parabolic and it calms down, you've got the same level that's holding. This gets above 93. It might even be a long on Amazon. Rivian is really, really starting to slow down, but those weed names are also picking up. So I've scalped some out, but if we break out from here, just going to get out. I'm not automatically reversing through 193, but if the market's still making highs, I feel like you almost have to be looking for some kind of a long play. CGC and the weed names, I don't know why I have to scroll down like CGC. First thing that should pop up should be NQ. But starting to pull back here, so no 950 break at all. You're getting a bit of a dip opportunity here in the cannabis names. And I've seen a lot of people talk about Riot. If you're looking for dip buys in strong stocks, obviously you could just trade crypto in general. Go over to iBit if you really like it.
Look at Palantir.
Why is this not even, there we go. When we talk about dip buying and all that, this is a linear move on Riot. It's just program, continuous buying in here, which makes it really tricky to get an entry point into it. You want something which is giving you dip and rip and consolidate and break. But ever since about noon, this has been just channel to the upside over on Riot. So for now, we're still in this Amazon as it's trying to break this trend to the upside. We've just reloaded it down here, but we'll see. We have to get out of this one and then move to something long. I want to buy dips and not buy highs. The ES is literally at the high of the day. I just don't want to be buying tops on the ES. If we break out the tops or we pull back and make some higher lows, that's a better way to get in. But not going to be buying any tops. Amazon, not looking that strong relatively, but AMD and some of the chip names looking pretty good. AMD above VWAP, pull back into VWAP. That makes sense. Resistance turning into support is a notion that I can get behind. So this would be a name that I like on a bit of a dip buy. That isn't at the high of the day, would be AMD. Just flipping above VWAP, that's all. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, sometimes trading is a little simpler than we think. That is for sure. Did you guys see Palantir? I mean, we have the bottom of the day. I'm thinking about this, and we talked about the journaling and looking over things. I think that it's like I should just be able to hold. I should pick one play and hold it all day. And, you know, Palantir could have been that one. I mean, hold it all day if it works. I mean, I have no idea. I wouldn't hold something if this kept going down. We have to have an out. But hold it for that play, especially if you get something off the morning. Like, we had a good read on Palantir. We wrote down 27.50. That's the long right there. The low of the day is 27.47. So anyways, now up positive, up 0.54. And this is what I mean. You know, we came in, we saw, it was like, what? Palantir downgraded, like puff, puff, pass. This poor guy at Mizuho there feels bad because his clients are yelling at him, why the hell are you not long Palantir? So he thinks, hey, a good move would be to downgrade it, right? Maybe he can get long. So maybe he did, or she, or did not, or they. But nice move today for Palantir. We like that stock. Nvidia, we're going to average into it. We talked about that. So we're not even, okay, well, it's getting close. Whenever I see a move, like, see, this is where I get a little carried away. I'm going to take a little bit. I didn't even get filled there. Offered 17s and ran away. Okay, there it is. We got it anyways. All right, good. So now we're short 7. We just added a little bit. Bigger add is up here in the 30s, as we talked about. So let's wait to see if that comes through now with that stop up at 126.50, where the VWAP is. So started off pretty small there. We're going to be in a red position for us. There's no way we give anything back. Well, we'll give something back, but we won't give back our day here on Nvidia being wrong one time. So again, market looks like it wants to get upside. ES continues to go up half. Great move for ES. NASDAQ just trying to get jiggy with it right now. So we'll see if that can do something. But for me, yeah, just kind of a chill day. We're not here tomorrow, so we'll just relax for right now. If those shares flow in, we'll take it. We know this position that we want on Nvidia. Our position will go up probably about, well, we only have a third right now. So there, whatever that math is, whatever the price turns out to be, that's what we'll have. So we'll put on 2 more thirds up here into the 30s, and then we'll deal with it after that. So right now, Nvidia is against us. We've given back about 15%, not less than that, about 10% of our net so far in Nvidia holding this one trade. So could get worse. We're going to try it here. It's Nvidia. It's a short against a market that's going up. So be cautious.
This is the first real pullback since the morning on CGC. So you're looking for a dip buy. That was a bit more than expected on CGC. It's not something calm where you make a higher low. That was a precipitous fall to the downside. If that's not what I like, which it isn't what I like, I go to something which made a subtle dip. That's going to be Rivian, holding the trend into the upside here. You see 18.15 on the hold. This way we can get something in the teens and give it a tight stop where it's at least holding some of those tops, holding above the morning breakout, holding above the consolidation, not that you-know-what candle that you just saw on CGC. You can like to buy the dip, but if the dip is way bigger than you expect on an uptrend, that's not what I want to see. So we'll get Rivian. I don't know if we're going to get AMD at VWAP. Sometimes it's about where it dips to, not where you want it to dip to. So I can sit at VWAP all I want, but when you look at this closer, this high is 176.90, that's 176.90, that's 177. The level says 177, VWAP says 176.5. So I got to be willing to look for the dip at either. And if it's going to be 177, just get in a little bit tighter and see if it can't pull back in. If this is going to break the high, I want to have something which is relatively strong. So above VWAP, good. Pulling back off the highs, giving you a consolidation like Rivian, sitting at 20s, trying to pick up 20s on Rivian, and 177 we like on AMD. Just got to get a bit of a wick to get in there. K-Deb saying, look at a firm. My bias always gets the best of me. I know a firm's having a really strong day. And
1%. Oh, 3.5%.
3.5% now.
Good one.
If I liked a firm, I've been drawing these channels, and some of the breaks have been spectacular when you have these channel breaks. And for some reason, I don't believe in a firm when it's breaking this long downward channel. The last time that instinct was correct because it reversed it the day after. Today, it's actually holding. So it broke out, and now you're holding higher. That's looking pretty bullish. I think one more day of convincing, 34.25, the 200-period moving average. It breaks this level here, and I think I like the long on a firm. But I've been pretty skeptical of this stock, and I'll admit some of that has to do with the bias, because that's a setup that should be long on a second day continuation. I'm just not convinced with it. I need one more day, and I'll maybe get into it. So AMD still nothing. Rivian now still going higher. Come on, Rivian.
I have to let everybody know here. Nvidia is not breaking below 40s. I've just watched this thing. Okay, now finally, okay, hopefully it goes now. We just got out of about 20% of our position. For some reason, I just sat there and watched that 40 bid refresh like millions of shares, thousands of shares. Now they've given it up and now it's falling back down. So look, we'll spin the winner when it is a winner because our average price short was 28s. So we talked about, I wasn't sure where our average price would be here on Nvidia, but with our stop being at 50, and I thought there was a buyer, darn it, I thought there was a buyer there at 40s. So this is, that's too bad because we did give up a little bit of profit there, getting some out when we were a little cautious on that play. But I look down at my net, it's at the same spot. It's just like, because right now we have a decent amount of shares. So we just got out there at 23 for a little bit for that 10 cents. Now let's see if it pulls back. I feel like Nvidia is going to go. It just kept getting bought up. You know, I've seen that happen too many times. So good little out there at the end of the day, down in the mid 20s. Let's just see. Oh, Kogler's speaking right now. Canada, by the way, cooler than expected inflation print. So that was nice. We'll see what's happening right now with Fed
But it was
cooler.
mixed because the core was actually, like the core was hot and then the overall print was good for us.
Yeah.
But then the core inflation for Canada was kind of the other way. I felt it was a kind of a mixed bag. We'll see if we actually get another cut here in Canada, although Mr. O'Leary thinks the first one was a mistake. Let's go to the desk with Adair. Oh no,
Some mixed but generally dovish comments here coming from Fed's Kugler right now, saying that the Fed might be appropriate to hold rates a little bit longer if we don't get continuing data through confidence. But if the labor market cools too much, it's going to have to be appropriate to cut the interest rate sooner rather than later. So again, lots of emphasis on the labor market, as you've heard from some other Feds. Also saying that it'll be, quote, appropriate to begin easing monetary policy later this year if we continue to see positive movements here in these economic conditions, if they continue to evolve, quote, favorably, and the continued labor market rebalancing suggests that inflation will continue to move towards the 2% target. So kind of mixed sentiment here, but generally pretty dovish. We have the SPY forming a bit of a doji candle as we digest these comments, guys.
Okay, so a couple things here. One thing, fail, because Nvidia went up. Second thing, though, at least we haven't lost our ability to read the tape. We were able to get out, and that was the thing. It came back down. We took some out for flats or for even a little bit of a profit before eventually it running right back out. So I don't feel good because it's an L there, and we did give some back on Nvidia. We talked about that. But again, we saw that there was going to be a potential problem there as that bid kept holding. It did give it up. It went down 20 cents. We were able to capture that. But again, we just kept getting out like 10% at a time. And at the end of the day, we had about 65, 70% or so of that trade out there for about a 20-cent loss. So 20 cents, it's short at 22-cent loss. Short at 28's out there on the 50 break. So we will slap a fail on that last idea for Nvidia on the short. But again, watching it, was able to sort of pick that one out. And for those of you that are scalping, I mean, that's just a tough trade, I feel like, overall. So it's just one of those things where you got to kind of watch it and be there. It's probably not an options level here at all. Is the NASDAQ just getting back to zeros? I don't know. There doesn't seem to be too much volatility right now. Some names are good, man. It's the move on the upside there for Palantir that we like. We're just gonna have to find some better opportunities. That Nvidia one, although I still like it. There was just a buyer down there, so I think we have to switch over to go long now on Nvidia. See, but when they give it up, it goes. Like the futures aren't really pulling back, and this thing just pulls back 15 cents. So now I'm getting that FOMO again, but we don't need to have that. So we'll slow down and look for something a little bit better.
I see people talking about Uber. I went back.
Uber.
Yeah. MindMed's making a spike on volume here, but okay, so this is true. Someone just said, look at MindMed. This is a real volume spike, but it's in less than 1 million shares. So relatively speaking, that's a spike. But in actual terms, it's barely doing any volume. 700,000 shares on MindMed. Remember, they reverse split, so there's not as many shares out there, which means it really has to do something special for there to be extra volume to get to that million. So it's a squeezable type of name. Uber breaking the high that I don't know why. Like every time I flip to a new chart, it just takes like a few minutes here.
Yeah.
75 just broke a top here on Uber. I'm in Rivian. That's right back. It's just sitting. It's Rivian's at 18.19. I'm at 18.20. So it's basically just flat. But Uber making a bit of a breakout up here. Adara, what's up?
There's some news here on MindMed. This report, again, this is not FDA approval. This is just a research report. Apparently, Harvard researchers from Harvard Medical School, amongst other researchers, saying that they believe that the MDMA-assisted therapy actually has more benefits than negatives, and that this could be, quote, approvable. So basically, some positive notes on MDMA-related therapy. Looks like that's what's pushing MNMD higher. This one getting circulated around social media, guys.
MindMed. I actually think this could be a decent possible trade. I'll get to this in a quick second, that Nvidia. But the reason why MindMed looks really good on the higher time from the daily chart is look at this ridiculous downslope that it's breaking. That is about as bearish of a downslope as you're going to see, and you're breaking it out. So when everyone talks about like the Russell and all this good stuff and small caps going, a lot of them are just breaking trend. Like this is an extreme example of what we're seeing in Affirm. So like this could really be a long. The volume as a day trade, I don't necessarily love it, but that's nitpicking. Like it even consolidated above and then broke it out. Technically speaking, I drew this and didn't do anything about it, although I'll look back. I have some bag hold shares on MindMed, so I suppose I could take the advantage of getting out of some of them on this move to the upside, although it's not going to make a dent. It's not a lot, but I know I have some from way back in the day when we got those T-shirts.
So what about that? You're down about 98%. I'm down 90%.
No, it was like it was like 91 or 9. It's a distinction without a difference. Whatever. I just had a small amount that I never sold, which is a stupid thing to do. No matter how much you have, you should treat it like it's real, because then you're just practicing proper decision making. Whether it's your swing account, your long-term account, you'll make quality decisions, and then you don't become a bag holder. So we're pulling back in. We lost on our first short of Amazon. It then went to the next resistance level at 93. We kind of jumped back into it. It's right back down at the previous level at 80s, which will take some out. And if it gets back down into the 50s and 60s, we'll take another leg out here. The market got to that double top, which is also yesterday's high in the ES, by the way. So yesterday's high as well. So double top today, yesterday's top, and a bit of a pullback. I just like Amazon because it's continuing to make lower highs. And that's about it. Rivian is 3 cents in the money. It was just flat 2 seconds ago. Yeah, it's like this is just not moving anymore on Rivian. I don't wonder if this is just running out of steam. We're almost into power hour. At some point, you want the consolidation or bull flag or whatever you want to call it. You want that to end, and you want it to break back out. If it never ends, at some point, you just got to dump the trade. So it's trend up 4%, but I mean, come on, Rivian, do something. The strength could be coming out of it.
I mean, you know, instead of losing, we could be at the highest spot we've been at all day. But no, Nvidia does take us out there. And then it just collapses right back down there to the point where we would have had, again, a 25 penny win on this name. And instead, we got filled on a bid that we had sitting there that didn't cancel. And then we wound up getting out of Nvidia there as it comes right back down in. And that doesn't, we didn't go long here. That's just a bid that filled. So we wound up getting in and out of that flat. But yeah, Nvidia, there's the drop down, but the futures did drop in. So if we think that Nvidia has a buyer here, look at that little bottom wick. I think it's now worth it. We'll take this live right here with you guys. We'll punch into a little bit there at 25s. Oh, we actually got 26s. I was bidding 22s. 22s, missed it. Okay, got it. Now, got it. Okay. So now we're long 20. Did we get 22s or 23s there? But we're long now. Let's see what we can do here with Nvidia. Again, just looking for that strength, right? We sort of talked about that. If there was going to be any strength in this name, let's give it back to 126. I thought there was a buyer there. I mean, it looks like we're going to be wrong on that as well. But here we go. Nice upside move, hopefully now for Nvidia. I mean, let's get back. We're going to try to give this one about 30, 25 cents or so, breaking back down below 126, the 200 period moving average. So let's see if Nvidia wants to get going here into the close. Wouldn't surprise me if it does have a little bit of a move up. The futures just bounced off VWAP. We're trying to get back to Greensville on the overall market. ES is well, oopsies, is well green right there. And did we just get out of some Nvidia? No, we did not up there, but we're at 35s. So let's see if we can get something out here for 12, 13, 14 pennies, and then we'll deal with it after that. So far, so good here on the Nvidia push higher.
Yeah, I'll tell you this right now. Like Amazon took like 6 or 7 minutes to drop 50 cents, and then less than half that time to come right back. So might be a little bit stronger. I'm not saying it's completely reversed this trend, but you've got a pretty distinct You got a pretty distinct bottom being put in here with the market at those highs. I don't know how much I'm going to like the reload. I complained about Rivian, and then it made a half-hearted attempt to get into the highs here. It just tagged the high 20s. If it gets to 33, 34, that's the high of the day. I guess take a little bit more out there. AMD is still, like, it's not really as strong as it was before. It's above VWAP. It's above the 177 level, but it's like 3 consecutive down candles here. It's a good consolidation, but it's not giving me the feels like this is the place to be in the long. Like, I'm looking over at some of these chip names, and like, look at Micron. Like, Micron's a dog.
I mean, all the chip names are down 2%. Like, Nvidia's down 2%.
Well, I keep typing AMD when I mean to go to ARM. I keep typing AMD. ARM just did a real move to the upside. ARM it's weird, man. Like, yeah, it's up on the day. Its spread is like 20 pennies right now, but this is looking a little bit stronger until you had that dip. So I might shift one level to the one I had on CGC. I'm just going to throw ARM up there. Still like that 177 in VWAP on AMD, but looking for something with a little more oomph to it. Like, we got into Rivian, and all it's giving you is like the small trade, when before, off of VWAP, Rivian would consolidate and break and then go 1 to 1.5%. Consolidate, go 1 to 1.5%. Now you're just getting an inside move on Rivian. So I want something else which is looking stronger. Could be ARM. We'll see. Amazon not going to reload because it's looking a little bit strong. We'll just let it work back to the downside and continue that trend here. GameStop apparently moving in SoFi.
Yeah, SoFi was a
morning.
big trade. Yeah, no, we didn't have it, but we liked that long. We talked about it as breaking out. We did some work on the charts. We showed those to you as well. SoFi today breaking through 7. We like that one. But I'm in 2 positions right now, and they're kind of counterintuitive because one is short Apple, and we just had to get some out on that short right there. We got a great fill up there at 75. So when that came in, we just got some 53s and whatnot out there for Apple. So we're going to do that. But here we go. Let's go to the upside right now. Let's cancel. And see where we go right now. Hopefully up to the upside. We'll see if we can get out some more into the 30s one more time now for Nvidia. We are a little bit cautious here on Apple. Again, I don't know. Like, I was going to go short against, I am going short against this high right there. Again, like, we just went to some names that we've been doing well on, but just because we've done well on them doesn't mean that we're going to, continue that route, but I'm trying. So right there, Apple into 235. We want to be short and get until we wind up breaking that. I like the trade here, but the market might turn around. And if it does, that's great for us because we do have Nvidia right now. So finally, man, we'll turn that frown way upside down now as it's into the 30s here for NVDA and Apple kind of just chilling. So maybe let's take some more out on Apple because, hey, look, if this market rips, we already have Nvidia. So right now, Apple's flat. We're actually sure we just got out some 66s there. So let's take that out for some flats, just like those wings that we like, the flats. Now we'll take out, so again, taking out for flat on Apple, although we've already taken profit, and making this 17, 18 cents now on Nvidia. So we talked about having a little bit of a wonky hedge there. Looks like it worked out a little bit for us as there goes Nvidia, and Apple allows us to get out of that trade as well. So, hey, if Apple still falls down, we'll have it. We're just getting out less and less. I only have half of this position left and about 75% of Nvidia.
Yeah, I got the last third here on Amazon, and I feel like it's going to break it back out. It is what it is. You're getting a pullback in Rivian, but I still think it's going to be AMD off 177. So maybe we get a break finally. No pullback into VWAP. Okay, so scratch that trade. It doesn't give it to you. No strength into 177 until it just held. So now you've held this consolidation. We can get the middle and give it to 177. I didn't want to buy on weakness, but now you're actually seeing strength. So there's a hold, almost exactly 177. Good place to put the stop in there. And AMD might just be the one when I have my stop. I can have my stop in before we even get into position. We've talked about that before. There's like 3 different stops we can use. That's the one that you don't want to misprice, because if you misprice it, you can get into position and then it's already past that price, then you get out. ARM was another that looked relatively strong, but the spread is a bit of a problem. I just don't like the spread on ARM as we're seeing. Shout out to you and thank you for the super chat, Pablo. DAL, Delta. So we'll like that for you. I have not looked at Delta since earnings, so get that caveat out of the way. But I remember this one off of earnings, and we did say most of the analysts love Delta as the best of the airlines. I'm not an analyst, but we're just trading here. At the end of the day, this is strong. Like this daily chart, my daily charts hate me today, but the 15 minutes probably going to tell you the entire story anyways. You don't need a daily chart to figure out what's going on with Delta. You're getting that post-earnings gap fill, essentially. So down on earnings, breaking out over 45. This is what you want to see. This is what Nike can't do or didn't do anyways that I would have wanted, is hold the low, hold the higher low, hold it 2 days, and then break it out. So now it's broken it back out. 45 would be the key. There's your 45 level. Once it broke it, consolidation over. I love that post-earnings play. Maybe not picking the bottom, but just participating when it makes that breakout past it. And maybe now the daily's loaded. So it held that 42. On earnings day, we said the only thing interesting in the aftermarket show was the 200 period moving average. Just be careful, it's going into prior resistance, which is that 40, or support to resistance at that 46. Just be a little bit cautious about that. But I like that rebound on DAL. You always have to wait for the buyers to step in post earnings. Instead of just trying to make the bottom, participate in that bottom. So AMD, we picked up the quarters. Let's see if it can get to those halves. As the market still making its run at the highs, NASDAQ and ES both, and just slowing down once they get there.
Yeah, exactly. Like our best fill here, actually Nvidia is now going higher. I was going to say our best fill here on Nvidia was right here at 35s as it starts to go upside a little bit more there. So we're just watching out for this. I think this does wind up taking it out. We did take the L there on that last piece, so we did talk about that. But right now we're back into the longs. They're all longs, by the way. So here we go, right back. Okay, well, we haven't been in the 40s before on this trade, so let's cut a piece out. I don't have any more offers other than that as we take a 41. Yes, sir, on that one. So, all right. Right back in the pocket now on Nvidia. So good trading. Let's see if it takes out that top. Let's sit here now. Let's get a little higher with this one. Where we got stopped out, right? Let's see if we get an offer there at 53 or so. I think we got 51s actually where we got punched out. Yeah, 50s, 51s. Good little out there. Let's see if it comes back into play for us. That, of course, is Apple that we're looking at here. It did dip in. We are waiting for a little bit more near 35. This one's 35. We'll take it there. I'm taking a little piece because we just got out. Some more at 78. But again, trade for me sitting actually at 90s to get that in. And then if it blasts through 35, you have to be a little more cautious here at the end of the day, I feel like. So you don't, like I said, you don't give everything back. That's for sure. Let's have a quick look again at Tesla. I did want to look at PAC-B or COS, some of the, the bigger runners here today for us. But all right, so Tesla, again, nice move up, 257. I mean, again, another good level. If you're going to look here, we talked about maybe shorting once you got up to this level. And there it is right there, a couple tops. It's the 50 period. You're now above the 200. I feel like if you are short this name, 255.50 or so, is that 200 period moving average on a 20-minute chart could come into play again. This top at 257.50, I would say you can probably just respect that for a minute. Now you're $1 in the money on that trade, so you have to be happy if you're in that. Now Tesla just back into the 50 period moving average. So I would say if you're short anywhere up here, 257 and change, good opportunity to get the out right now on that name just because of where we are. Here comes the drop in. Let's see if it holds the 50 period. It doesn't look like it wants to. And oh boy, it'll be Neil and Obi tomorrow. But we're going to wait to see what happens here if Apple wants to make a move down. It looks like the future is just holding out. Let's see. We just got our 78 fill right there. Also took another piece on Nvidia at 36s because it did not. Oh, did it? Oh, wait a second. We did get that fill. What fill is that? Oh, 42s. Okay, so we got a 42 and a 38. So good fill right there. Come on down, Apple. You're the next contestant to go back to lows. What's up, Adara?
This part of the show brought to you by Benzinga Pro. If you feel lost in the noise of the market, then you need Benzinga Pro. Benzinga Pro cuts through the clutter and gives you the insights you need to make smarter, faster trades. From real-time news to unusual options activity, we'll show you exactly what's moving in the market and why. Don't miss out on your chance to trade like a pro. Visit benzinga.com/pro to start your free trial today.
Shout out to Benzinga Pro. There hasn't been a lot of massive news in the afternoon. We had that MindMed story, but you never really know what could drop. Maybe Boeing will have bad news in there. I was going to go over Nike in a quick second, but before I do that, got to go over to AMD first. We'll just update the trade. We get a lot of questions about Nike, and I started talking about Nike and then never finished the thought. But in AMD, we bought the dip into 177 quarter. It then broke it down. If it's bouncing off VWAP, it's not a huge range. This is the range from 230 essentially to now, like a half an hour. You basically sat in like a 70, 80 cent range. So if it wants to bounce lower, let it make that move down. And if we take it off VWAP, that's got to be a separate trade for me. So Nike, just to finish the thought that we had from earlier on earnings, it's up 2% today. That's good. But what was different between like Delta and say Nike, and you could look at the Starbucks chart as well, Nike's still in the process of making lower lows on the daily. And that's the problem. Like, it hasn't really settled down. Like, sure, you could say yesterday's low held and it's bouncing off of that, but that's happened before, and then it doesn't break out the consolidation and just continues lower. I still think this is in the down channel. You want it to hold a low and then break out a resistance level. That would be 74 and change on Nike. So every day that I look at Nike, if it's not breaking one of those resistance levels, I'm not looking long. I'm not looking to make the bottom unless it's the pandemic bottom, which is $62 on Nike. That I don't mind sitting at, because if you can't hold a pandemic bottom, then nobody wants Nike at all, at which case we can just give up on the stock. You know, pandemic low for a retail name, and the retailers have not had a nice day. I mean, Hugo Boss was like double digits, Burberry got smoked, Lululemon's not having a good day, month, year, and all that good stuff. And then on cue, we just got a super chat asking about Ulta. I don't own Ulta Beauty. That's a good company, at least so I've heard. That's what my wife tells me.
Best.
No, but but Marissa said the other one was better.
Oh, Elf?
Yeah, that's
No, she just called an 80% winner.
Yeah, but then, so
I don't. She's never shopped at. I mean, she shops at Sephora.
Yeah, Sephora. That's what we use.
So does my daughter.
Ulta actually looks much better than those other names. See, after earnings, make a bottom, break out resistance, and then it looks strong. That's participate in the break higher. This looks pretty good off the 50 period. Ulta, the 390 level. See, that's the difference. That's what I'm looking for in Nike. I want Nike to do this, and if you have to wait a month or 2 months to go long Nike, who the heck cares? Like, I don't care. If you get in good when when it's going higher and looking stronger, then you can like stack that cash. So Ulta Beauty, good look. Nike seems to be nowhere near doing this kind of a bottom. So I want to stay away at least until that happens.
Okay. Yeah, so Apple, so by the way, we're out of Nvidia there. Apple trying to make a move back in here. I mean, this name just looks strong to me. The market fell in, but again, looking pretty strong is Apple. So we'll have to wait to see if we can get anything back into this one. I think we got to go something shorter somewhere. I don't know if it's going to be Tesla or not, but there it is, Tesla all the way down to the downside. So it is a nice move back in right here. We are, we got a couple fills at 60, so we're happy with that. I mean, we're short at 72. Let's not hate too much on what we're doing here. But again, you know, let's go a little more short just to make it right if it does go. Again, you know, we'll see. A nice move to the downside there. Shopify, Palantir, Nvidia, Tesla. Those are the names that I'm looking at. If anything else hits, we will definitely have a look. PAC B, we talked about that with Pacific.
There's nothing happening in that stock.
Pacific Biosciences, yeah, PAC B, yeah. There we go. Oh, come on, man. I just need Apple to get downside. So up 32% right now. Huge move. $1.60 all the way up to $2.20. Again, just looking at a daily chart, we've already seen sort of wick highs up here into 250, 270. So that's something right now. My wife's messaging me. The rain was huge here. We've been without power for about 3 hours, and we're actually pretty lucky. A lot of Toronto, especially the West End right now, out of power, although it's being restored.
There's even flooding happening.
We heard that it's not supposed to be restored till 10 o'clock at night. So we'll be without power today for hopefully less than 8 hours. But my daughter has hockey at about 5 o'clock today, and that is in power, has power. So she's pretty happy. So she'll go
you'd have to have
skate
power
around. Yeah, or else that rink will be slushy, and they will not.
Well, they have generators there, obviously.
Yeah, they're without power though. Yeah, they're not. They're not running the session.
So Rivian is without power. I was saving that when the second you said the power.
Oh, they have power, but yeah.
Oh no, Rivian. Oh, they have power. Rivian does not hold a consolidation, so it was a slow mover. Thankfully, when I said it was a slow mover, that's why we don't reload it at that support level. We just get out. Again, it was so much stronger earlier. That's on me. That's the second time I've made that keystroke. Remember, I've said if you put a stop order in on that before you get into position, sometimes you'll get in. It's like, oh, you've got it at the wrong spot. Like it holds the consolidation, and I get out flat on Rivian. So that's a keystroke error. But that one, it actually broke down against me. So we got to get out of dodge. PAC B is pulling back. I don't know if you pulled up the chart when you were asking about it, but PAC B is starting to give up the trend. It is since the afternoon, since the volume spike, so this is a big volume spike in the day. I know it was going up most of the day, but since the volume spike, this was the low, and if you draw the trend from here, it's about to break it. So I like these trend breaks. There's room into VWAP. Realistically, if it holds down, you'd be like 13 short into VWAP, and then you'd want to stop out, like that previous high was like 17, so you're looking about 4, maybe max 5 cents worth of risk. Hold into VWAP if it breaks 2. That was the trend support anyways. So it's a bit of a trend break happening on PAC B, which I just realized. We used to have locates on this. Today, do we? Yes, we do. So we do have free locates on PAC B. Now, I know back in the day, we didn't always have free locates on PAC B. Thanks, Brankles. Just got the reload on the hydration because my water has been empty for like 40 minutes now. And I just keep reaching for it. I'm thirsty.
Yeah, man, get that Hydration Nation. Shout out to Shakib and everybody that's out there with their Hydration Nation coming through again. So, all right, we're just waiting for Apple to fall down. I don't have too much else. Is there anything you guys want me to look at? We can look at cost. Cost was moving around a little bit today as well. Wow, up to 1050 right now. But look, pretty boring here so far today. Again, a nice move from 850 up to 10 and not doing a whole heck of a lot. I would say, again, anything around $11. Remember, you have to, okay, come on, Apple. All right, you know what? Last time it came down here, we didn't take it, so we'll punch out some 57s. I am bidding 54s right now, so we'll see if we can get some Apple 54s. I just didn't want to miss this. It already came down here. It's trying to break lower. I don't even know really why we're at 54. I guess that's where the 50-period moving average was. Now it's at 57, so we will take a piece out right there. Now let's see if Apple wants to fall back in. VWAP is a good trade, so we'll put a bid down there at VWAP, which would be, let's just put a bid at 40s, see if we can get that. VWAP really is 32s or 31s. We'll see about a push back in right now. Just 20 cents. We're trying to get down at 54. We'll take 17 cents right there and hope for a little bit more. All right, someone just asked, okay, come on, Apple, bring it down. Microsoft, all right, well, hey, I thought Microsoft was going to the upside here, which is not great for my Apple short. But so Microsoft right now near the highs of the day, basically. I mean, that's actually, no. That's the whole day. I thought that was the pre-market. We've opened up here at 454, so you still got $5 to go. So take that back, but you are taking out VWAP a little bit. This reminds me sort of Nvidia a little bit here, as you're just trying to get above VWAP and then go. Microsoft, again, relatively weak. So for me, if you guys are asking what I would do on this name, I would look short, especially into the afternoon. A stock that's weak against the market. The market right now is up. They're part of the SPY, a big part of the SPY. And Spiders is up. The S&P 500, and the NASDAQ downside. So for me, we look for Microsoft's little bit of, I guess, convergence from what I'm normally thinking. This shouldn't be up if the market is down, and this is only down 1%. So I would think you could try a 450 short. I don't hate that play. If you do take it, that's 450 right there. We've already seen it. I would say that's 450, 150. So I think that you got to give it. It could run up here. We have like a sort of a gap to fill. So if you give this $1.50, you easily have potential to get the 50 period would be that, let alone the 200. So I think if you take that short, the risk might be there if you do think we are due for a drop in the market. We did get that Apple fill, by the way, on that. So 54 just came in. We did take that fill. Right there. Oh, sorry, that's still at 57. No, we missed the 54th fill. So Apple back to the upside. We did not get filled at 54. That's the short. So there's a little look at costs in Microsoft and crypto, man, still 65,000 and ETH.
I think there's a meme thing happening right now.
Oh, is there?
Because
I thought cost wasn't doing anything.
Oh, well.
Maybe GameStop.
No, but Beyond Meat.
Oh, that could be story related then.
If you think so? Well, okay, let me check. I'll check in a second on Beyond Meat. I just threw it in the chat.
I don't see anything.
I don't see anything for Beyond Meat. So maybe you're just getting some squeeze names going, but that's a pretty decent volume spike. It's the biggest one on the week. It's a double bottom into a breakout up here. But nice, 0.5 cent per share. One of the advantages, I know a lot of people will look and it's like, well, why would you want to fade it? Well, because look what happens every time it gets past the 7/4 or at the 7/4 area. You've had these dumps. It's like tries to go, fail, tries to go, fail, tries to go, fail, tries to go, fail. And if there's no actual news to this story, if it doesn't break 735 or fails to break 735, I just feel like in the afternoon I want to look for that retracement trade. And a lot of people are like, oh, you can't short this name, locates are too expensive. Day trading is very different costs, especially for a firm as big as Real Trading, to get borrows, because you're not holding them overnight. Like, it's expensive for some, insert random hedge fund to lean on Beyond Meat short forever, because the carrying costs are going to be higher. So it's much different for us. The other thing, when I pop up the daily chart, you can see where Beyond Meat is. Look at the 50 period on the daily. It has been rejecting it over and over and over again. Every time it wicks up here, it rejects the 50 period moving average. So I think it's at a resistance spot. If it were to take out this high, that 735 that I showed you, I think it's an easy place to get out. So I just hit accept on these. They always ask you to double confirm, which is good. I'm not a huge fan of it because I feel like I forget it all the time. I hit accept, I go back to the stock, I try to go short, and then I realize I didn't actually do the confirmation. So PAC-B broke that trend line. This is a very different trade. It's first available dip. I'd love to have a price at 18.19 into the highs, but we just dipped in at 16 first on Beyond Meat. So I don't think any story as to why this is going up. I think it's just a sympathy play in. And if this consolidation is the spot, great. If it isn't, makes a new high, then we just jump out of it.
So again, like I kind of misread it on Nvidia, obviously, but I feel like Apple has a buyer on it as well. It's not breaking. We just had a nice move back in. It got to 61s. We took out a 61 there because it's not going any lower. And I changed my 54 to 56. So I'm going to see. There's no reason for this to get bought up right now. I think it should be in free fall, to be honest with you. I mean, the market's coming down here, and Apple's sticking up. Apple again, relatively strong, but not really. So I thought this would drop in. Let's see, man. We thought Nvidia. We thought the same thing for Nvidia, and then this happened to us, right? Oops. And then this happened to us where we were short, we got stopped out, then we went long, took money, and then got out of our last 10% there as we broke below. So I don't know, man. Let's see if Apple wants to give it up. I still think it does. See, again, it just broke down in. Let's see if it continues here. There's 59s, right back up through 60. All right, fine. I don't want to get out of too many shares. We'll put a 61 there, cancel our 56s. And then, you know what? Just take one more out. We know 61 isn't a magical number, so there it is. We'll take a piece out. It's an amazing 12 cents. Look, I think this name needs to fall. So here it goes, 57s. Of course, we canceled our 56s and then gets bought back up, but not much happening. Let's wait for a bigger move. We could just sit here and talk all we want, but until it actually does something, whatever. Oh, the position that I want to see, so I don't have any more bids. I have a bid at 40. Let Apple cook. And that's not a Tim Cook thing. We need it to cook to the downside. So get down.
Russell Wilson thing.
Yeah, we'll let Russell cook too. Whatever. Where is he now? Seattle?
Dude, you have the entire offense in fantasy on that team.
Seattle. He's in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I was going to say, in our fantasy league, you've got...
Why would I think he's in Seattle?
Oh, no, Deontay Johnson's gone. He's not in Pittsburgh anymore.
But
you have Najee Harris. You've got Jalen Warren.
But I'm not keeping Freiermuth.
Oh, you're not keeping Pat?
No, I'm not
Baby
keeping
Gronk?
Pat. I'm taking, hopefully taking the real Baby Gronk. I'm taking Bowers, who's a little more, I guess, better pass catcher than Gronk, I guess.
Can't miss.
So I'm going to take him at number 5.
That guy can't miss.
And then I'm going to take Neighbors at 3. So, okay, so here we go. Hopefully a downside move. I will take a piece out now. Did we just get something out? No, we did not. Let me take a piece at 51. So there we go. We are letting Apple cook. Now to the downside. There it is. Let's spin it a little bit of a hot dog cannon here because finally something that we're holding is working out. We did get a piece out at 60s, then take a piece out at 50s. Now we're bidding 40s, and let's just see where we go from here. Again, I like the stock. Let's see if it will work. Downside now for Apple. We're out of more than half. We have about 40% left. So let's see if it goes down in there. As Nvidia is still doing absolutely nothing. You are interested in AMD. It's Tesla, I feel like might have been the missed opportunity right there. Because if we had just started shorting Tesla the same time we shorted Apple, we would be, whatever. You could see what we'd be doing. It'd be a huge move to the downside. So let's just see if we can get something off here on Tesla if it does come back up. 265.50 or so. Definitely shorting the wrong name in Apple. But hey, we'll take the profit when it's there, only 20 cents. Funny how Tesla, the same price, moves $2.50, and Apple, we're sitting here on 20 cents and happy about it. So
it's because, Apple's buyers are just a little more confident than Tesla's buyers in a day where the futures are finicky. I don't know. Apple's got more confidence to it in terms of market makers are going to be way more active. They're less likely to drop bid on Apple than they are, at least rapidly anyways.
Yep. I agree.
In Tesla, the littlest thing panics and the algos will drop to bid because Tesla can do those moves on the Cybertruck story. Not Cybertruck. on the robo-taxi story. Well, I mean, it could have been Cybertruck if it was a big
look
thing,
at
but it's not.
Nvidia.
So I didn't go over, I went over Pac B, but not since we got into the trade. So remember, since volume spike, trend is loosely here. It broke the trend down, consolidated under the trend, short underneath there. If it breaks out the top, get out. If it plays into VWAP, that's the pullback trade that we're looking for on Pac B. I just love the fact that I'll go to Beyond Meat. So this one calm, which is good. You want something to be calm in a pullback. But Beyond Meat, we took our short. It broke out the high. I still don't believe in Beyond Meat at all. But if it does take out that 736 in here, then you've got yourself a little bit of a squeeze. I'm going to look for a failure one more time to take another shot at it. And someone's going to be very happy that I can't believe you just said you're taking Neighbors over Jalen Daniels. Jaden Daniels. He's going to...
I'll take Jalen Daniels.
I'm thinking...
I know. I have Jaden Reed from Michigan State.
Daniels is going to be...
But the thing is, I have Jordan Love, who was QB8 last year. I think he's going to get better this year. And then I have Justin Herbert, who I don't want to throw the towel in. I have to keep him, right? And then I have Will Levis, who's added a bunch of weapons there, and I'm not throwing him back in.
Best available.
So, he is the best available.
We're a two quarterback league.
Yeah, I know.
Hold someone hostage in a trade.
Yeah, I'll do that with my receivers.
I don't have a third quarterback. I'm gonna have a 0 on the buy unless I make a trade.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. You'll draft somebody. You'll draft Penix or somebody like that. Who poor Kirk Cousins will be out of a job probably pretty quickly there. The amount of money these NFL owners have is quite ridiculous.
Career earnings on Kirk Cousins. Yeah. Michigan State, baby.
Yeah, he's huge. Career earnings. I have to double check that. I can't really believe LeBron James has $590 million earned on the court. Absolutely unbelievable, let alone all those.
At least he's won a championship. Kirk Cousins can't win a playoff game.
Kirk Cousins, yeah, well.
He's rich.
All right, what's up with Adara?
More power to him.
Coming out here on TSLA, Bloomberg reporting that Tesla is now looking to hire 600 new employees. This is only 3 months after it had its layoffs earlier this year, which was the largest round of layoffs in the company's history. So Tesla now looking to hire apparently 800 new employees, or nearly 800 new employees, as reported by Bloomberg. We also have some news coming out here. This is more about Elon Musk. Apparently, he's tweeting here. He tweeted 7 minutes ago that SpaceX is moving from California to Texas. So SpaceX HQ now moving from California to Texas. We know as well that Tesla's been looking to reincorporate in Texas as well. So just some Tesla and Elon Musk related news, guys.
All right. I did hear that SpaceX thing, but I was like, I can't really trade it. And I looked at Tesla there. So he's moving everything obviously over there into Texas. So good for that and good for the people of Texas as they get more opportunities to be employed. And then the hiring of more people. So good job there, Elon, as he puts some money back into the market there, or into the company, obviously, with more hires. So we'll see there. Good job, Elon. All right. I'm showing you this Nvidia trade because, again, a stock that's half the price of Apple just dropped 70 cents. And Apple right now is just ho-humming itself like as if nothing's happening. So I know that we helped Apple today. My wife grabbed the AirPods off Amazon Prime.
I didn't find anything today that I liked.
Yeah, she wants. So we've been recently. The kids really like French fries in the air fryer. So instead of heating up the whole house with the oven, we've been using the air fryer. So we have a Ninja, but we have a smaller one. So she's trying to get a bigger one because then you could throw in the fries, the nuggets, and everything all in one. And meanwhile, we'll have the good food. They'll have that. So she's trying to do that. I was like, I think it was like $190 on for $130 or
down with
something
that.
like that. So I'm
all about that.
My problem is, like, I'm so frugal. Like, if there's a deal, I was like, get it. Like, that could be the regular price. Like, all you have to do is mark something.
Yeah, but
up.
like, I'm just saying, you got to have the good fries with the barbecue, which is something
yeah. We should do I want to do a podcast on
there's a couple of
everything. Anyways, so air fryer is.
Right, I'll buy on the drive.
Says, well, you're gonna buy an air fryer?
Why not?
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm looking for something
more things to you.
No, it's food related. They don't get. Here's the thing. When you make good, we would if we buy one.
Yes, you would. That's what I was
I'm just saying, when you buy something food related, you're going to end up saving money because you'll make good food at home as opposed to going out and ordering stuff.
Oh yeah.
Right. So that's the value. You have a good barbecue. You're not going to order burgers and stuff. You're going to make that dish yourself. So yeah, the air fryer, I got no issues with that.
There was Ramin just mentioned something in our ear there.
That. I don't know what brands are good. But what's the?
Air fryer?
I don't know.
The Ninja, the one. It's on
Ninja,
sale. It's like the
okay.
best one. You just
Oh,
look
wait,
on Amazon.
Ninja.
The best part about Amazon is you just sort it by, you can sort it by reviews or whatever like that.
I'm just going to put a Ninja.
Yeah, put the Ninja in.
That's
You'll
the-
like it, man. You can air fry anything you want.
I prefer if
my
somebody
kid
I
threw a
know
beef
likes
patty.
it as opposed to like random reviews on Amazon. I
We have
trust
the
more
smaller
people I
one.
know.
We have the smaller one.
I don't need a big one. It's only 3 of us.
Yeah, Ninja has different sizes, but my kid threw a beef patty in there. And to me, that would have been perfect because it was crispy and everything on the outside, but he likes it in the microwave where it gets a little bit.
Huh? No, don't microwave a beef patty.
They're frozen. They're just the shitty ones. They're already the frozen
Costco ones?
Yeah, like they're just the ones you buy at the grocery store. They're really bad for you. It's like
Air fryer is bad for you. Look it up. Okay, I understand.
I'll just
in
go
the chat,
get one, Ramin. I'll just go out right now and get one.
Obviously, it doesn't have to be good for you. Sometimes you've got to enjoy yourself a little bit. So I understand that maybe it's not the best for you. But I like to eat healthy when I can. You can fry wings too. Everyone's telling me. Look,
you could do wings. Yeah, wings is the jam in there. So I only started using it because of that. Like it just the oven was so. So sometimes, obviously, we'll barbecue is first choice. The air fryer can hit the road on the barbecue. But at the end of the day, it was because it was so warm, and we're like, oh my god, I'm not gonna. You can't. Where else are you gonna do fries? I don't even have a deep fryer. So we just throw them into the air fryer, and then you're not heating the house. So I like.
Gotta love it.
All right, so here we go. I'm going to take another piece out right there at 48. We just put a bid out there for Apple. It is finally falling down. Now let's cancel and see if we can be right on this one. Let's just props it up to everybody out there, man. All my gremlins that are out there. If they were able to grab that short and be patient with me, here it is. Let's pay ourselves out. We just took a fill there. We don't have any more bids. We're doing it right here. It is Trader Nation with Apple. So let's see if we get to the downside. We do have one of the best traders on the block coming through. It's Mr. Brian Shannon. As soon as Ramin gets that to me, I will retweet it as we go. But he's coming on the after show today to talk all about something. And whatever it is, we'll be here. So
whatever it is will be
crypto, he had the big collapse. I just saw collapse. Eli Lilly collapse. He had a big call there on crypto.
A great call.
So we'll talk about that as well. And the funny thing is, I just want to say, this is not, we talked about this yesterday with Michael Noss on the after show because Reddit was making a move. Today, he liked Reddit, and Reddit today at its low was down like 8% or something like that. Nice move back up. I just want to tell everybody that if you're in some of these trades, man, you got to be able to, are you talking? I hear it for some reason in our ear. But the idea, what I was trying to get at here was, it's all about timing, right? I mean, you get out at the bottom, it's a problem. You get, right now you're back up to $70 again on Reddit. So you can Reddit and forget it on that trade as that's making a move all the way to the upside. Did we get our 40s? No, actually I didn't bid 40. I forgot that we have VWAP right here at 31s. Let's put a bid right around like 36s. Maybe we'll get that, maybe we won't. But I like Reddit right now, I like Apple coming back in. Good trade here. Right now it's a 40-cent winner. We'll see if it gets a little bit lower here for Apple. Good thing we were able to hold this one, guys. Feeling better about that now as Nvidia making its move back up. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of time. Somebody save me from myself.
Save me from myself. Don't save me from the air fryer. But I'm good. Look, we said we wait for Beyond Meat to get to that 735 level. It just tagged 733. That's pretty darn close to the high. So we had it here when it topped there. We're going to have it here. And if it breaks out the high again, just going to jump out of it. PAC-B, we're still in that one, consolidating underneath. What I wanted to say with regards to Mr. Shannon coming through is during the midday, they were talking about Elliott wave and Fibonacci's and all kinds of indicators and how important it is, because with Elliott waves, it's like, oh, you got to pick the first wave and where do you anchor things from? With Fibonacci's, where are you anchoring it from? Like where are you starting to chart it from? The thing I like about anchored VWAP is it's usually really intuitive where you want to anchored VWAP, because you want to do it on a big volume spike or on news. Like an earnings day, it's not that difficult to figure out because you look for the volume spike, and here you'd probably just put your anchored VWAP in there, or you'd put it on the previous low where it held. So it's really just intuitive as to where you want to anchor it. And some indicators are not simple. And if an indicator doesn't make any sense to you, you don't have to use it. Like the example I will say is Fibonacci's. I've messed around with it. I know some people make money with it. When I was a penny stock trader, I used to throw them up on the charts all the time, and I found that it's like, oh, this time it worked perfect. The next time it was completely meaningless. And maybe I was doing something wrong with it, and that was the reason. But if it doesn't make sense, you try it out. Don't stick with something that doesn't work for you as an indicator. I think what I love about Brian Chan is he tries to keep it really simple with anchored VWAP. And I like that whenever he's explaining a strategy to me, even if I don't know the indicator or I might not use it, the trade always makes sense. And if you can't explain your trade or your use of an indicator, you shouldn't be using it. You're like, oh, it puts this line on the chart, so I do this. Try to make it a little bit more than that. But again, to each your own, make sure you back test. So Beyond Meat up that 9%, trying to go higher. The squeeze names have been running today on nothing. I don't see any news anywhere, but it's at that high. So we're back into it at a different level. So second try there. PAC-B, still the same. Broke the trend, kind of dipped down. Probably should have just taken like the move when it went like 4 cents down, but it's consolidating underneath. So still looking for that drop back into prior support. This is kind of what Shop did when Obi and I were on it. Broke this trend in, only it was moving so much more rapidly that it just fell all over itself. This is a $2 stock. It's not really moving all that fast.
Oops. All right. So again, good cash out there on Apple. Let's props it up. We're keeping it really, really simple here today on our trades, man. We trade 7 names, which is fine. I mean, that's a little bit high probably for me on that. I know you've traded a lot more. And again, it's looking for the opportunities. And it's just about scanning things, right? I mean, Sharif actually mentioned this too. Most of my scanners will just have major names on them. S&P 500, well, not S&P 500 names, that's 500 of them, but mainly NASDAQ names. Here, I can show you sort of the watch list that I'm looking at right now, actually. Why don't we sort of run that down? Just these are some of the names that I have on board here. Apple, Affirm, these are all sorted. Let's do it by percentage change there today. So Shopify, wow, $70. We were long at 67.50 or whatever down there today. Wow, another one that we probably should have held. Wells Fargo we're looking at, obviously, with banks coming through. Boeing, good hold for us on Boeing. I mean, we're not getting out of that anyways. Affirm, Uber, Coinbase, Starbucks. I mean, you just look at these names as we scroll down. XOM, we just added XSOXL to it, and SPXL as well today. Palantir, Netflix, Qs as well. Qualcomm, Apple, ARM, Amazon, Roblox. Like, these are names that I trade every single day. Micron, Nvidia. There's probably a list of 30 of them or so in there. They're all the major names. And then I've taken off Beyond Meat, and I think I took off Lucid. I think I have Rivian still on there. But as those names start to pop in, like when those Chinese names were hot, Li Auto, Xpeng and all that, I'd put them back on. ETHE is on there for Ethereum. IBIT should be on there, but I'm not sure IBIT is on there, actually.
But if you already have Bitcoin.
I don't have Bitcoin. I have it up here, but I don't have it on for technical analysis. So IBIT is now on that list as well. Someone that's on and on the stage is Adara. So let's throw to her.
Let's take a look at some of these S&P 500 names making some outsized moves. The first one is going to be an earnings name we didn't discuss as much in the bank space. It's going to be Charles Schwab, SCHW. This went down more than 9% right now. They did beat here on EPS and revenue, but they did warn about some lower net income. So this one moving to the downside on that. Next up, we have Boeing here up about 3%. Overall, some strength in the industrial sector, but Boeing also getting an additional 5 orders of its 777 jet from Emirates Sky Cargo, so some extra orders here for BA. And last but not least, we have eBay. This one, a nice steady uptrend here, up more than 3%. Wolf Research initiating coverage with a peer perform rating. We also saw Wolf Research initiating coverage on some other names in the related space today, Shopify and Amazon. So good look here for EBAY as it pushes up above 3%, guys.
Not bad, eBay. Well, Beyond Meat got down to 720. So we got the lower high short. We didn't take it all out. Like, I'm looking VWAP $7 on any kind of a flush, but you don't get that. You get a push right back into the previous level where we're short and then right back into the high. The only difference is we go to the 15. It is 736. That is the actual high up here. So it's a couple of pennies away from that. You got into the 20s, but it's looking like it's too bullish into the upside. PAC-B, we did get a fill on that bid, but it's certainly slowly moving, which is good. On the back end of a parabolic mover, you do want it to be slowing down. We'll end up 0 for 2. If I take it all out on Beyond Meat there at 20s, which I never would, I could have been flat. But I'd never take it all out for that shallow move. You're looking for a bigger press down into 7 even. We had the chance to maybe scalp it, but with these, I'm looking home run or not. Beyond Meat will end up in the red on it. Thankfully, most of our winning trades are going to be bigger than that. But you could have scalped this out. I'm going to get away from Beyond Meat, up 10%, and just look back to it tomorrow. If I don't believe in this move, if it can close underneath, usually when it's failed, the next day has been a pretty big red day, or at least another wick high. That's the case. You're still on the upward move here in this. I haven't really looked at cost, so we're just back in the Pac B. Again, this is just very, very calm after breaking down. Like, it just held the trend in the other direction off our entry here, but not breaking consolidation. It's 335. It is running out of time to break the consolidation. It might end up being a bit of a tighter trade. Where is my imbalance locator? Just wanted to show you guys. The early look came out like 5 minutes ago.
All right.
And there's just nothing there. A couple of banks are on here. Banks have been, I guess it's a little bit mixed, but I'd say relatively strong. WFC and BAC, but that's less than 1 million shares on both of them for an early look. That's kind of a nothing burger. BAC, you need a big number when the banks are reporting. BAC's done 61 million shares. A 700,000 imbalance is doing nothing for BAC. 5% up. I think it's great. I was happy this morning with Morgan Stanley. It did a bit of a bounce off of VWAP. I felt like I was in early for a tight stop. But I'm actually thinking of trimming Morgan Stanley. I don't know. I just feel like if this doesn't hold on to the top break, it might be a good idea for me to trim a little something. Looking for places to raise some cash. And Morgan, it's been a bit of a laggard that I just kind of hung on to because it wouldn't break support. It's taken a while for it to make this big breakout. And I want to make a play in TD Bank, which is the Toronto bank that I own.
Yeah, TD Bank. Okay.
Wow.
All right. So I'm not even sure how many shares we had at the beginning of all of this because we have a bunch of outs here. But we're getting lighter and lighter on Apple. But it did just make a move up as the market came back to its highs. So let's put another bid at 50 here just because we'll take another 25 cents on it if it does fade out. We're bidding 52s, of course, to see if we can get that. Our other bids are at 20s and then at O's. And we do, there it goes. And we do have another stop, or another opportunity to get shorter up here if that does come through. So, yeah, that's what we're doing right now. That's okay. I want to look at Tesla as the market made a move higher here. Is there an opportunity to short Tesla? Maybe the 50 period, but again, an up stock. I'm only shorting at the end of the day. I'm not shorting the middle. This is the middle right there for Tesla. So not a great short opportunity there. Apple, definitely a good one for us. Palantir, let's check out that. That's been a good trade for us today as we nailed the bottom there. Then we shorted and made some money back before eventually giving some out when we took out that top, which at that time was zeros. And now Palantir at one point was up 0.5% at its highs and now just fell back in again, down 50 cents or so from its highs. Coming back in, I think VWAP, I wouldn't buy this. They did get downgraded today. I feel like there's easier spots to make a little bit of cashish. And right here, there it comes into the downside again, right into VWAP. All right, I'm canceling my is that VWAP? Yeah, that is VWAP. Canceling that one, and then going to cancel my 20s, take a 36, and there it is right there. All right, Ozan, you're in the building. Let's go. There it is, a good trade for us. And thank you to Ramin as she got out the tweet. So we're going to tweet out right now. Join me, Adara, and Brian Shannon right here from @AlphaTrends on our after show today. Market recap show where we'll go over earnings plays. We'll talk a little bit about what was going on in the market. Beyond Meat still continuing to pop, which is a nice play. Good out, I think, on Apple, man. I mean, we really shorted this. I want to talk about people in the chat saying, you know, well-skilled trades, well-placed. I mean, honestly, it's just the same thing every day. You try to play off support and resistance. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes I have bad outs. See Nvidia, as we got stopped out right there, literally at the top, waiting for this move. So we'll take, it was 12, we're sure at 28 out of 50, so I think it was 22 or so cents of a hit, which now, again, we would have averaged it out. It's not like we would have had the whole thing, but this would have been now into this area, which is fine. Even there would have been that 40, 50 cents. So I like the odds of us winning on that one, but again, we did not hold it. It's 338 right now. There he is. Ozan's in the building. Shout out to Ozan. Again, you know what I'm thinking I have to do now that we're into earnings season? We talked about that, is add a few more names to my list because, you know, maybe even more bank names or names that have been earnings plays for that day so that we can get back into them. So we're going to do that a little bit more often here for our scanners and get a little bit more because everything that's hitting now is Palantir, Tesla, Apple, Netflix, Oracle, Uber.
Wait till Netflix.
Like names that we've all talked about many times. So many men wish death upon Apple, but right now it's not really going down. It's funny because we're almost in 50 Cent winner right there as we give a little reference to 50 Cent.
I think Apple doesn't have many haters.
No, but I mean, I think the play to be is short right now on the day. That's all. I just think there's the short right there. So we're short Apple. And again, Apple will be, because we gave some money back there on Nvidia, Apple will be the #1 P&L name for myself today. So good little trade there on AAPL.
Yeah, good little trade on Apple. Well, only because you mentioned Nvidia. Netflix reporting this week, obviously not till Thursday. But if it does this tomorrow, and you're going to see what I'm talking about here, and I'm bounce right off to 50 period, sometimes things calm down going into earnings. And if that's what's happening, and you're going to find this as your bottom, local bottom here, 642, it's just essentially finding buyers down and around this range at that 50 period moving average. Did the dip, held a higher low, but I'm sensing a bit of a support level trying to form. Maybe it's going to be 650 like today. Maybe it's a 640 level, but those are two nice round levels. And you've got support at the 50 period moving average also going with it. Not a great look in terms of the trend. It's a potential trend break. Clearly, 10 times out of 10, if I see a setup like this and it breaks down after earnings, I'm looking short on a flat bottom break. But until you get those earnings points, I think you got or earnings releases for Netflix, you got probably one more chance. Today's done. You got tomorrow that you can trade it. And if it wants to bounce off that support, fine. Top VoIP, Pac B, just to give you an idea of what I like. So Pac B, this is the news. Midday volume spike, I should say. Trending higher all morning long. Makes a volume spike, pulls right back in, finds support there, holds support. That establishes a trend line. Since then, pull back off of the trend for a scalp trade. So that's it. I think it's breaking this trend under here. So once it breaks down, does it confirm? Holding under, did, scalp, did, and then try to scalp it. If it breaks out from there, we get like a 21, then I just jump out of the trade. So it's more of a structured idea than anything else. The volume has tapered off here. It could still break higher, but it's a setup that I like. It's a setup that's worked in the past. If you watch, I think I said maybe 20 minutes or so ago when we were getting into this, this was a trade you saw actually one day both Obi and I had the same trade essentially on shop, and I had one trend line. His was a little bit different, so we had 5 cents different of an entry point, but it was the same principle. You broke the upward trend that was steep, and you pulled a short back into VWAP. So I like that setup. Just a day trade setup. Obviously, this is trending higher, up 35%. It's a day, not even a day two play. Like it started going here like $1.30, consolidated and broke out. So from everything else on the higher time frame, yeah, it's still probably in a bit of a breakout, but late in the day, I love those little trend reversals. They've been working well. What I love about it is you have a pretty defined out. If it confirms that you're holding underneath, then you can take the reloads and scalp them out. Once it breaks over, you just punch out of the trade. It gets relatively simple. I like those defined trades when you can find them. But yeah, top VoIP, yeah, multi-day runner. No question about it. Multi-day runner potentially on workhorse as well. But when you make that break, my hands weren't even on the keys. I was putting bids in. It breaks that top. I just get out of it. So we were able to get the 4 cents there. And then we reloaded at 19 and we get out at 21. So I like that trend trade. We'll keep taking it over and over again because it's about a small win with a small loss with a potential big win. Like you can risk 2 to 3 cents on that trade, but your first move is 4. And then if it goes down here, you're able to make 10 to 15 cents on that trade. So it's a really tight risk to reward. And as I said, there's lots of names that are going. You can't always put them into play, but workhorse, and the only reason I brought up workhorse is because this is an example of one that worked, pun not intended. So if you were to look at it here, here's your consolidation higher. It picks up volume. Now, I wouldn't draw it there. I'm looking at the volume spike right in here and then this pullback. So on workhorse, there's your volume spike. It holds higher low. It holds higher low. There's your trend. Obviously, if you want to pick the top, I don't have a reason to short it up there, but then it consolidates under, and then look where the resistance is. Same price. Like right here at about 210, it pulls into VWAP. So that's the idea. And every time I see that set up on a parabolic mover, I just want a key, give me a place to start that secondary trend, usually on a big volume spike in the afternoon, and then you put that higher low in. Workhorse is a better example because clearly it worked, but I'm not just going to pigeonhole it and say, hey, you know, that's the one that worked. But if you take the trade on Pac B, it's a similar trade on Pac B. We take it, Pac B doesn't work out as well. Obviously, Workhorse would have worked out perfectly. Good thing we got out of Beyond Meat, 750. It's not going to last, but I'm done shorting that stock. It's 345. If Beyond Meat's up another 10% tomorrow, congratulations. I'm highly skeptical. I still don't see any news for it. I think there's just a bit of a squeeze happening in these meme names. And I think without any news, you're still looking at a bit of a fade.
All right, good.
Bet you AMC's up.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think for me, I like Beyond Meat. I mean, we've talked about that one with that huge short float again and again and again.
37.
So, 37. Okay, it's a little lower than I thought.
Well,
maybe it's bigger than that, I think. But anyways, definitely in the 40s.
Now it's 30. Now it's 39.
Okay, yeah, okay. But anyways, we are almost out of this one. I'm not going to short it anymore, so I'm canceling everything here on Apple. We'll wait for, again, if it takes out 34s, or we short out 78s, let's just get out for flat now. Honestly, I mean, we don't have anything to prove. The damage is already done here, right there, 100% out. So like, I just went to go get some water, so cheers on that one. And then I ran into Obi, and I was like, Obi, make sure you're good for tomorrow. He's going to be covering for me tomorrow as we get jury. And then I run into my guy Yannick over there, and he's like, I was like, oh yeah, hopefully it's just a day or two. Like, you know, I'll go up there, they won't choose me. And then he's like, no, dude, these things can last for weeks. Well, yes. Like, you could be sitting there.
The selection can last.
The selection process. So I'm gonna wait to see. I'm hoping to not. So I've already run into the lawyer like 4 times today, and I forgot to mention that to him. So maybe I'll see if he's got
a letter.
Potentially. Well, I'm gonna see what happens tomorrow, and then if I get the vibe that I'm going to be pulled, although I want to get pulled, I want to do it, but I don't know. The way this market's heating up, man. I mean, honestly, we're starting to do good. Like taking food out of my pen.
I want to be on a jury when I'm retired, like in 12 Angry Men.
Right.
Like half the dudes, like you've seen Henry Fonda, classic movie. Like Henry Fonda, like the retired guys, those are the ones with wisdom. And it was the young guys on that 12 Angry Men jury that were all, well, I guess it was a couple old guys that were kind of unreasonable too. Good movie, but I don't want to be on a jury unless I don't have anything else to do.
I'll just walk in and say, so who we putting in jail? Yeah. Yeah, no, the thing is that, you know,
I'm randomly biased against whomever the defendant is.
Yeah, like part of being on this show is, of course, trying to have a little bit of integrity. I don't know if I can like go in there and not act, you know, try to act appropriate, but we'll wait to see what happens.
Yeah, I've never actually done that.
There tomorrow. Yeah, it's easy to say that.
I got
like you
lucked
just go in and be racist or something. Like I don't know. Like
I've said I would do something like that to get out of it, but the 2 times I got called, the one time it got canceled the day before I had to go. The other time I went in there, it takes like an hour and something for them to just go through everybody signing up and making sure you are who you are. And then at the end of that, everybody was finally registered. And before they would pull us in, the guy literally got a call right in front of us, and he's like, "Oh, the judge just called, and they don't need you anymore." So I guess a plea deal got reached. So plea deal. So I basically lucked out twice when I was called. I've never actually had to worm my way out of it.
What if I forgot to bring some ID? You know, I couldn't prove who I was, and then I don't think that would work.
No,
I always wondered, like, you know what, they
go right back on the list.
Exactly. They send that summons just via like normal mail, not even registered mail. I was thinking, like, what if you're up at the cottage or something? And because I only got it a month and a half ago for tomorrow. So it's like you could go away for all summer. It just sits there. And next thing you know, I don't know.
That's not your fault.
Is there a bench warrant out for you or something?
No.
Well, if you don't show up to your jury summons, what happens?
But if you're out of the country, if you're out of the country traveling,
but you wouldn't know you got that.
That's what I'm saying. They can't put you in jail. They can't just bench warrant. I think you're fine if you can prove you were traveling. You come back and you just jump right back on the list. Or maybe you're called the next time. There's just no way they're that ridiculous here. I see crazy mofo said they're in the jury selection twice.
That's good. How does that work? Yeah, exactly. I want to serve, man. I want to serve on the. It is our duty. I want to serve.
Of course, it's the duty.
I just would also like to trade. You know, maybe I can do sort of like a simulcast. I'll sit here, listen to the case, sit here, trade.
I'm pretty sure they don't let you.
Oh yeah, I'm also on air, so probably won't. Yeah,
I really don't think they would let you do that. That's literally.
That might be a problem. Oh, actually, the imbalances are almost out. So
1 minute.
You guys know where our stop is here on Apple. If you're wondering what are these two guys talking about as far as everything, then yeah. But the imbalances, we can explain that pretty easily. These are the market on close imbalances, and when they hit, they will update here at 9 at
what
9
is BAX?
at 9:30 early, and then now it's 3:50, so 3:50 p.m. Eastern time. With your last 10 minutes to play in this game today, you will get an update here. So the thing is, if Apple comes to sell, right? These are all from 9, so don't look at these yet. See all the times right here at 9:30, at 3:50, and right now in 10 seconds they'll all update, and you'll see Apple go womp womp. We already have a stop up here, so again we have like 10% left of this trade, probably a little bit more, but not much more. So if it falls back in, we should put a bid down here just in case. I have one at 234 flat. There it is. So it is a downside, a little bit of a downside push. We'll put a bid at 47 to get out. What came out? Cisco a buy. So Apple just pushed a little bit there. It got into 44s. So nothing to really write home about right there. Our stop is were for flat. So if we get stopped out, we get stopped out. Gold, I know a lot of people have been looking at some gold
Baxter
trades as of late. Right there, shout out to my kid Baxter, he's on there. Okay, so gold, nice upside move. As a lot of people going into that asset, especially with all the uncertainty in the world. That's something that I could see myself getting into. Oh, there's Baxter. So again, look at this. It's 5 million. So again, alert, alert, alert.
This is $35.
It's probably a rebalance.
I just looked. I don't see anything for it.
Has to be, man.
You know, it has
or
to
this
be.
is a mistake. So Baxter right now today, only doing 2.5 million shares. Although I am surprised. This might be a bad quote, if that's possible, on the imbalance, because why is it not even moving up right now? Is Baxter a buyout or something? What's that been doing? No. So I don't know. Anyways, 4 million. Whenever the imbalances double, normally you're seeing action on this. Like people are like, oh my God, they have to buy 5 million shares.
If it stays 5 million at 355, I might try to go long.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
so that might be the trade.
Unless there's an index action that I don't know about, at 355, it's a major pairing event. So on the NYSE, you can put orders into the closing auction at any point. It just so happens at 355, there's a huge update on the floor where a lot of the pairing orders are going to come in. So with Baxter, which, just so you know, it was expected to come out at 4.9. Like, we knew this was a big buy, expected to come out 4.9. It has not shocked. It's come out exactly as expected. I like to keep that up.
This has to be a mistake.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it was an early imbalance. It's exactly what we're expecting. So I'm going to I'm going to message on the floor, see if I'm missing something.
Alibaba, a little bit of a sell. So I'm just trying to find
if it stays, I might take a long in Baxter. If at 355 this thing stays or gets bigger, if it gets bigger, that's an easy
You better
long.
do some research because you only have 3 minutes. Okay, so right here, Amazon, 500,000 to sell. As you can see, it's not really doing anything. It does create a little bit of a spike down, but now it's brought right back up. So again, take advantage of those spikes, man. I mean, this is why we sit here. We say it's not always worth sitting in these trades all day and waiting for an imbalance because, you know, you get it in your favor and then, you know, it goes one way and you can sometimes get stopped out. So I try to be flat. When that does happen. I'm going to put another bid out here. There we go. Oops, sorry, it was on the wrong stock. Apple. So we just took a bid there at 60s. Why not? We're in the money now, 18 cents. It just fell back in. We almost got stopped out. So a nice little fall back into the 50 period. Now I'll just wait. I have a 47 bid, and we'll see. You know what? Let's cancel that and put something. Let's put something at like 52. Again, I don't know where Apple is on this thing, but these are the imbalances. And most of the time, Adara will give us the update on what it was, and today she has done that.
It's a small buy.
Yeah, so
NASDAQ.
An amazing 150 million shares, it looks like, 150 million to buy on the market today.
Oh, but then the NASDAQ's 150 sell.
Pretty small at the end of the day. Here comes Apple. We'll see if we get that fill in the 50s.
Yeah.
Not much else happening, man. I don't know what to say. We'll could watch for that Baxter, but the fact that it's not changing and the stock ain't doing anything, I feel like this is not what it seems. But yeah, there it is. Actually, there's a nice little bump up. I don't know.
It's so strange because usually we anticipate if you see a random stock with a big imbalance, it's simple. It's going from the S&P 5 or 600 to the 5 or the Russell 1 to the other. It doesn't really matter. I was going over here to look at something. What was it? It was probably Bitcoin. Yeah. So tomorrow, we only have about 5 minutes left to go in the day. But there is this looming potential breakout here, and the breakouts only occur when you take out the top. But BTC has broken 65,000 a couple of times here today. You can see the consolidation. This is a 15-minute chart on Bitcoin for anyone that's curious. So if we get another press higher, if you think it's been a big run already, it doesn't mean it can't continue. It's been a pretty strong upward trend, and you have a potential double top break. So we haven't really talked about the crypto chart too much. but this is looking pretty strong for continuation. Mara, good day. Riot, good day. Coinbase didn't really check at all. Someone just asked me if Intel had an imbalance. Nothing had a big imbalance. Maybe it's moving, but as we were saying, the only thing up here is Baxter. If Intel's on this list, then it's such a small number. Amazon's there for a small sell, 500,000. If Intel's on here, it's so far down that I would say it's insignificant. What matters, the relative volume in here on the imbalances could just be, oh, good thing we got out of VWAP. Intel is spiking, but there's no imbalance there. We got out when it broke VWAP, so shorted there. It broke VWAP. It was like a 4-cent hit, but Intel looking strong, almost green on the day.
Ooh.
Yeah, this was a good short for almost all day, right up until it reclaimed VWAP, and then it flipped into a long. So Intel, I'm not touching it. 355 hit, and Baxter, BAX, I'm talking about that stock like people know. It's still there, slightly smaller. So it got a little bit smaller. It didn't really grow. I'd love to see it growing. As long as it holds on in the next couple of minutes, there might be something there, but I just can't find any news on it. It's so weird for BAX to be doing this. And it did give a little bit of a spike.
Yeah, I mean, that's what
Yeah, I'm just going to wait till maybe a little closer to the close.
I was going to say, that's kind of what it's all about right there, is trying to take some shots at some names. I mean, today we have Interactive Brokers tonight, expected to move 4%. JB Hunt with the transports, that should be a little indicator as well. JBHT coming through. Other than that, we don't have too much coming after market.
Oh,
AEHR is a name that a lot of us look at, and then there's not even anything after this. So that's 13 million, pretty low coming through. Tomorrow, a little bit of a bigger day. As in the morning, we have J&J, we have ASML overnight as well, going to come through with some expected moves of 6%, 2% for J&J.
Love that company.
Yeah, US Bancorp, yeah, ASML's had a good run. Obviously, everything in that space has Equifax coming through as well. National Trust, just looking to see if there's any big names. Alcoa AA coming tomorrow before market open as well. So we're getting close. The bigger days are at the end of July for all of them names coming through. So again, there's Baxter. Look at this move up, man. We missed the boat on this one.
Yeah,
Baxter just continues to go higher. So I guess whoever was looking at it might have been right, as that name continues to make moves. BAX.
Yeah, see, but now the move's already happened.
Right, so now it might not be worth it as we're getting close to the closing trade here. Nice move up for Baxter. Next time we see something like that, let's try it. I'm glad we were able to show it to you, but again, a missed opportunity.
Someone was calling me from a number.
Yeah, that happens all the time, man.
I don't even recognize the area code.
Yeah.
It said Ontario, but I have no idea what that is.
Ontario.
As long
we
as
have so many area codes.
No, as long as it's not the doc.
Yeah.
Every time I see that, I'm like, oh, they're rescheduling the follow-up. No, like this move is, as far as I'm concerned, the move that you'd want on Baxter kind of just happened. And on big volume. So the 350 came out, and then a volume spike twice the size on that last push. Twice the size of the imbalance when it came out 5 million has already happened. And you can see like it's starting to slowly pair off. It was 5 million, now it's like 4.3. So it's starting to pair off a little bit. Unless that gets really big in the last few seconds, I don't know that there's going to be a trade here on Baxter. Won't chase the move. Sometimes, if you just trust that big number, you could have just gone long. But our experience tells us, usually accompanied by some kind of an index action. And what if it was a sell imbalance that was expected? You know, I don't know that.
Yeah, not good.
And I remember we had a trader, I won't name any name, but we had a trader one time, massive imbalance. They went to trade it. The stock they were trading was being a down weight in the index. It came out a buy. They went into the long, and they lost their entire month when it flipped. And it flipped with about 2 minutes left to go, and it was like that. It went from looking okay to they didn't have a stop order out. They're just going to take the auction print, slam. It reversed, but if you'd looked at the research, it was supposed to be a down weight. And that's what I wanted to make sure of on Baxter. Turns out there doesn't seem to be any news on it. So whatever it is, it's still going higher, but that's starting to pair off again. Now 4 million over here on Baxter, still holding up pretty nice. This is what I'm going to watch the last minute of the day just because it's the one that's moving. And this is why we go over it. If you took that trade, which I talked myself out of, you're still 1 point in the money here if you took the breakout on Baxter because the amounts came out and then it broke the high. Like that was 35.13. You could have taken this after the imbalance came out and you're still running high. So 1 minute to go in here. My guess is it's going to pair off right at the end. For now, this is the biggest one. I just want to have the locator up on another window here. Still 4 million to buy over there on Baxter and looking strong as it goes right into the close. Wow, I bet you there's some kind of action we don't know about on Baxter, now 3.7 million. It's holding right into the end of the day. But I'm buying tops is not the way to play this. You need to be in this one early. So 30 seconds to go. Nvidia squeezing. Someone's saying this is probably done. It's probably going to pair off, but it's still going. Wow, it just went another spike higher on Baxter. Big time move at the end of the day for this stock. This is why we look at this imbalance locator, guys, because if you do have this, it's churning and chewing through volume as well, the biggest volume spike of the day, and that's where the opportunity is going to be. But I think it might pair off here. That's what my concern is. As we get to Adara and the countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and ring it. Hey, I still think it might be good for those that take it. If it's NASDAQ, it prints essentially right away. If it's a New York stock, you have to wait for them to gather and then make the print. So ignore that. That's Dark Pool Wicks. This stock has not printed the close just yet. The NASDAQ is going to end up closing. Where'd this thing print? Let me give me a second. No, it closed the high. It closed the day. Baxter closed at the high, 35.40.54. So you could not have lost if you took it and put it into the auction. So that was a big one right there. Good look if you had it. Congratulations to anybody out there. I'm sure a couple people might have had it around here. The NASDAQ closing just slightly to the upside. ES, similar story. The story was probably some of these squeeze names in the afternoon. You saw a GameStop move. You saw Beyond Meat make a bit of a move to the upside as they were all breaking out. So the squeeze is back. Cost was there earlier. I was going to say Nvidia was a bit of a mover right at the end of the day, and I wanted to get to that. Broke back through VWAP, so the buyer is still supporting this one at 125. As you would expect, you get a bit of a volume candle, but that was a nice little recovery. Tesla was a huge reversal on Tesla and closing up at the highs, up 1.5%. Shout out to Fabian and Remain on the 1s and 2s. Shout out to Adara and Sharif on that midday, a little more Elliott wave theory to get your learn on in the middle of the day. But you know where we're headed. We're going from one desk to the other. We've got Sean, we've got Adara, we've got Brian Shannon. It's the aftermarket recap show. How's about now?
Thank you for joining us here on the After Hours show. Yeah, wow, that Baxter did get moving. I just wanted to see where we did close up there at 35.50. So a good trade for anybody looking at that one. Adara.
Hi.
It's earnings season.
It is.
Something came out.
We did. It's
What was it?
IBKR. So we got here, I'm going to read some of the numbers we're getting. Q2 pre-tax profit here coming out 880 million versus the estimate of 934 million. So that is going to be a miss, but the actual EPS here was a beat from what I'm seeing, adjusted EPS anyway, $1.76 versus the estimate of $1.74. However, they did miss on revenue, 1.23 billion versus the estimate of 1.273 billion. So slight miss there. Also, they have declared a Q2 dividend of 25 cents. So interesting look there for IBKR with those earnings out here now. We're also waiting for JB Hunt, which is supposed to come around 4:05 if the estimated time is in fact true. How are you doing?
Good. I'm doing pretty good. I was just trying to find out what IBKR was up to right here. Let me just change this over to a 1-minute chart as we start to go to the downside. We only had a move of, I think it was 3 or 4% as expected. So there it goes. Starting to get going now, IBKR to the downside, trying to print just a little bit lower through the day's low. And then if you're going to look at a daily chart for Interactive Brokers, still just hovering around, not doing too much at the 50 period. Moving average, trying to get down to $100. That is your 200 period. So not too much going on right now. We will wait for JB Hunt, JBHT, I believe. Yes, that is right. Trying to come out right now. There's a nice daily chart. Wow, what a move back on the transports there. Industrials trying to go as well. So nice move back up there for JB Hunt. Flip over to the 1-minute chart as soon as that comes out. Yeah, keep on trucking to the upside, JB Hunt. KRE. A little sip of coffee right there. KRE.
Why not? Yeah,
we can. I got some water here. IBKR, there it is. Accounts increased 28%. So we'll see on that move. Anything comes through Adair will let us know. The banks today, KRE ending at its highs. As there we go. You want to talk about some underperformance. Well, not KRE. Look at this line. There's the break right there. Trying to get back up to the upside. We like that breaker. $50, just taking that out. Nice move up for KRE as some of the regional banks start to get going again. Today was a day for the banks. Wow. XLF, I mean, we've been looking at this for a minute. Continuous upside movement now. It's Adara 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 or so days. Yeah, straight upside fire right there on that move. 5 below, flushing a little bit right now. New CEO, FIVE. Thanks for that there. Not Fiverr, 5 right there. Ugh. New CEO, yeah, might be due. What does this look like on a weekly chart here for Fiverr? Is that the only news that there was there?
No, they also announced this is not great here. They're announcing some sales updates. Their sales for the second quarter expected, apparently, that was the expectations. They're also saying their total sales for the 10-week period ending July 13th increased by 9.5%, but their comparable sales decreased by 5% for 10 weeks. So comparable sales decrease, total sales increase. So a bit of a mixed number there. They also are having their Q2 sales, I guess, adjusting that forecast there for 5 below. So a couple updates there.
Okay, good little look there. Thanks to everybody in the chat. We do have Brian Shannon coming out very, very soon. But just for a sector recap, I mean, gold continues to move higher. GLD is what we look at. If you're looking for the miners, you could do GDX. But again, today, I just think it's on uncertainty, right? You've seen digital gold with Bitcoin continue to move higher right now. Look at GLD here on the weekly. Gold right now breaking out past 228 right now, taking out brand new highs right there. Bang, bang, bang for gold. I mean, look how good this looks. JB Hunt is out. Just quickly here. No, give me a second.
Continue.
Just rate upside there. Look at what this looks like on the monthly. What a huge break of 195 there for gold, continuing to go upside. JBHT, she says, is now out. Let me reverse that over into a daily chart. Nice move up for JD Hunt, but I can see it's printing down a little bit here, Dara. What's up with JDHT?
I was going to say, nice move up. A little surprising given the numbers we have here. Of course, not always going to react to the numbers.
Oh, it's actually down.
Okay, they did miss here on Q2 earnings per share, $1.32 versus the estimate of $1.52. That is decidedly a miss. We also have revenue coming in here for Q2, $2.93 billion versus the estimate of $3.04 billion. That's also going to be a miss. Q2 operating income, also a miss, $205.7 million versus the estimate of $222.9 million. Misses across the board for JBHT right now, guys.
I was logging in to show you some trades. Yeah, JBHT, I was telling you it was down. It was down to 168. Then all of a sudden it popped up to 178. And I'm just going to load up my level 2 so I can show you some of the volatility here in the post market on earnings. Now JB Hunt showing around 171. Nice downside move. Look what's upside today. It's ARC, baby, as it continues to go. I'm not in this name. And we do have Brian Shannon coming through, and I won't talk about ARC with him, but it is well off those lows now. Nice upside play as we've seen names like IWM, the Russell. Did it continue to go today? Did it continue to go today? Wow. Nice little trade there. We had Michael Noss on yesterday, and he's like, full disclosure, I'm in this.
Yeah.
Well, full disclosure. Nice trade. Right there, yes, there is some printing happening on that one if you are long with Mr. Noss and the rest of the IWM family as that continues to go upside right now. It's always good when you don't see many red names come through. Wheat. Oh, Michael messaged me today as well. He was long UNG, took a little bit of profit on that, but it looks like it did fall in at near the end of the day. Yeah, so UNG, we asked him about this yesterday. I don't know if you remember, Adara.
Yeah.
We asked about UNG, and it did have a nice little pop from that bottom there, off the 200, up to a little bit of a high. You'd have to be pretty tricky to get in and out of that one, but Michael Noss did mention that to me, so a nice little move there today. XLF, copper, uranium downside. Again, I think there's an opportunity to buy this. I don't know. So again, alternative energy, right? We did read that JD Vance did vote against some of the subsidies in the space, which makes sense, which is why TAN was down yesterday. And I think Dan back up today, so up again as they sort of divest or divulge some of that information, and now we can make it into our investment plan. I mean, I think that there's going to be some Trump trades that are coming through right now. The latest polls that I saw is 65% chance that he is your next president. So again, that can all change. It actually is so bad, not so bad, but so skewed in the favor of the conservatives right now and Donald Trump that President Biden has actually agreed to another debate. So that could happen in September. They're talking about all of that. So we'll see if that does come through. Not a great performance the last one. Hoping for better the next time. I don't think President Trump has to debate again at all. I don't know if that would be a good move for him to do that, but we'll see.
That's actually a good point too. You're right. Yeah. Given how he did, you're right. I don't even know if it makes sense for him to.
Well, I mean, it was such a sort of a windfall, I feel like, for Trump after that. Although I thought Joe Biden obviously had his moments. Let's not talk too much about politics because people in the chat will have their opinions. But you know what's funny is also the equal weighted S&P 500 RSP What does equal weight mean again, Adara?
Equal weight means that instead of having it in the S&P 500, the spot where you have the names that are worth the most, being weighted the most, they're all equally weighted. So whatever percentage of them, if it's 500, and you're each going to be worth like 0.2%.
One stock, one vote.
One stock, one vote. Yeah, that's a way better way of wording what I was just trying to say there.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's what that means.
Yeah, so there you go. So yeah, but 0.2 works as well.
Yeah.
But right there, nice move upside there for the RSP as well. So it's not just the S&P 500 that's making moves. It is the whole market in general, right? So there is a broadening out. You always hear that talk, and I think the banks have really helped that. I mean, look at what's happening today. TAN back up, right? Gold up. There's XBI. XBI is a name that we've been buying, right? You guys know we like the biotech. When Brendan and I were doing, see you, Fabian. When Brendan and I did that first podcast, we gave you some plays into the new year. I really liked XBI, and you could see that's been a huge move. I mean, not as big as some of the equities, but as far as an ETF, XBI, we really like that because the population's getting older, so we need to have biotechs win, and also with AI and some of the new technologies, I like some of the names. I mean, we've seen what that's done to Eli Lilly, although Eli Lilly today, Adara did pull back about that 1%. So a nice little pullback today for Eli Lilly. I don't think, can we go to the, yeah, I don't think it's opportunity to buy anything yet, but again, a nice move for Eli Lilly as we wait. Where's earnings date for these guys? August 8th. Still 3 weeks away or so on that one. The IBB's another one that we really like. Biotech again, so similar to the XBI as well. There's IWM coming through. We're just trying to run through some of these events. XLE is a name that I really like. My largest holding in the energy space is with this ETF, of course. So a nice select sector there for XLE. USO, did I see USO is down today or no? Yeah, so United States Oil. So there we go. Oh yeah, the only big name. I mean, again, if you're in uranium, fine, but a lot of us obviously care about what's happening with oil. Oil had a beautiful run back up to the upside right now. You know, we obviously hope for peace in the Middle East and not even the Middle East, throughout Palestine and through Israel and things like that. So we'll see if that does have any major effect. That they're not, neither are a major oil producing nation, but Iraq has gotten involved and had some opinions on some of this. So we'll see what happens there. And again, coming into a presidential year, we need some more studies on that, wondering how oil performs in an election year. So we'll see that, because that always comes into play, right? National security and whatnot, and oil and energy, a big part of that, especially with Trump and Biden sort of on, not on opposite, but one wants to drill, one doesn't, right? So we'll look at that. Berkshire as well. Look at this name. Oh my. This was a name that I wanted to get into again. You see the outperformance in Berkshire lately. What a huge move upside with Apple at 52 and all-time highs. Most of the banks you're going to look at all-time highs as well as some insurance plays hitting this name. I mean, there goes Berkshire Hathaway. You don't even have to be like obviously a genius. We've heard about Warren Buffett for a very, very long time. But those holdings, right? Complete opposite of an ARK. But this is how you know there's breadth in the market, right? I mean, Berkshire, all-time highs, breaking out, right? ARK also starting to go back up, nowhere near highs, but still a nice little month for both of these names. And again, on two different sides of things. ARK, of course, is what, Adara?
That's going to be Cathie Wood's ETF. But also, I was thinking it's worth noting that both of the holdings that they're kind of known for. So in BRKB's case, we do have Apple. With ARK, we have Tesla. Both of those going to pop as well. So I'm not saying that's entirely why, but I think it's interesting to note we both get a nice pop on the charts for those ones when we have their larger Mag 7 components making a move up as well.
Yeah, we also had IBIT today. Yeah, good call on that one. And apparently, I know they had agreed to 2 debates in the past. Let's see if that does happen. Look at what a bounce for IBIT. Oh my. We just got its 200 period, and guess what? That's exactly where it dropped off of from as well. So, I mean, what we can do is, we're going to have Brian on in a minute, but we could put a anchor from the top there. Ooh, I don't know. Oops, wrong day. But you're approaching the anchored VWAP, sorry, right there at 37. So we'll see 37.75 right there, the anchor from the high. Let me see, can I actually drop another one? Because I think I missed the day there. Yeah, so that's a little bit better. Anyways, same difference. 37.75 or so on a volume-weighted average price anchor that will anchor to that most recent high in and around that 73,000. So looks like we're trying to get going. What a bounce back there in IBIT. Didn't we get news today on Ethereum?
We didn't get news on Ethereum, but we had later yesterday, there's been a lot of these ETF specialists are saying they're hearing whispers that we could get the Ethereum ETF trading as of next Tuesday, so July 23rd. But that's, of course, provided that everything comes in by Wednesday, all of the forms, all of the approvals. But yeah, just some whispers from some ETF specialists from Bloomberg and other places saying that they think we're set up, we're poised for a July 23rd.
Right. Okay, good. Well, that's good to know. I mean, hopefully they go. I mean, imagine, I think that's a sell the news story because it's already baked in that it's going to happen. So what happens then when they pull the plug on that? Right? Ethereum might go down like 30, 40, 50%, honestly.
Yeah.
If they were to cancel that ETF, I don't know, not good
We'll
words.
find out. Yeah.
For that, we'll find out. Yeah, I like that. All right, let's go over here and quick look at the recap because today was a little bit of a different day where we had the S&P 500 pretty much on fire. Again, most of that due to the banks. And then, yeah, make sure you check out daily trading lessons with Adair and Sharif for sure every noon or 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock, yeah, and we do it again every hour.
I don't want to say noon, then I got to go on for an hour later, and then you do it every hour on the hour.
Yeah, on the hour pretty much, and then Neil has his lesson around 12 as well. So, like, lots of lessons.
Yeah, lots of lessons throughout the midday, but today was a fun one. The big lesson to learn today was strength in the broader market with the S&P 500, while weakness hitting some of these names today, including the biggest one is Nvidia that I see on the board right now, down 1.62%, was down worse than that at one point today. Broadcom as well, having some post-split hangover, down 1.2% as that continues to go downside, but still holding out. We can look at Broadcom in a minute. Meta down 1.28%. As far as like some of the names that were up today, IBM up 1.6. I remember buying that as a little wee one because it had a dividend. IBM finally starting to outperform some of the other tech names. CRM as well, Salesforce up 1.25%. That's real nice. But if you're looking over on this side, man, consumer durables just had a day today with Ford up 1%, GM up 1%, Tesla up 1.5% as this sector really starting to go. There it is. DHIDR Horton upside as well. Lennar, some things starting to pop off. Fly upside right there. Wow, look at health services off UNH. Great report from UNH today. Big mover here, really increasing that sector as we continue to go up. But you know what's the big one? Let's check out finance. I mean, what a big day today. Berkshire upside, JP Morgan upside, Wells Fargo down 7 or 8% yesterday, back up 4 today. I mean, you can't keep these stocks down. Honestly, I mean, what stock continues to go down? Oh, yeah, Charles Schwab continues to go down.
Schwab hit SSR near the end of the day.
Yeah, it's actually down 10.1%.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, maybe worth watching.
So for SSR, here, let's close this out. Anyways, a good little stock heat map to come through. Good call on that one. SCHW, I believe, is Charles Schwab. Yes, it is. Right there. Look at this pull. Now, if you believe, we're going to review these numbers. Maybe tonight. We will do a little bit of a homework. Nah, maybe not. But nice move down for Charles Schwab. I like the 200 period moving average coming through. It's 417. We're having too much fun. I got my guest of the week ready to go over here. Don't tell that to all the other guests, but, you know,
It's between us.
I really like Brian. So, okay, nice move down in the 200 period, but a nice move down there for Charles Schwab, ending the day SSR. You often get SSR bounces. You know what? Let's go talk to Brian Shannon about SSR bounces. It's Trader Talk. It's Mr. Shannon. How are you?
Doing well, Sean. Nicely done on that anchor from the all-time high in IBIT. That's exactly the you know, if you look at Bitcoin itself, it is right on that anchor, and it just ran 11,000. So I think this is a likely spot for Bitcoin to maybe rest a little bit. Hopefully, pull back down towards 62.5, and then maybe we can finally get that run for 100 everyone's been looking for.
Let me know if you need any interns or anything like that. We will, I'll come over there. Have a quick look. What I just talked about, we were looking at some of the banks, and you and I have looked at some of the strength in XLF and some of the names in the past. But today we get a little bit of a pullback in Charles Schwab. Now I know this is not, a bank as per JP Morgan. A lot of trading happening at Charles Schwab. But you ever play SSR bounces? And what I mean by that is this: the stock just gets so killed the day before it's down 10%. Now, all of a sudden, SSR means, of course, you can only get short off the ask, or the offer cannot continue that momentum down, of course, unless you're long. Do you ever look for little SSR bounces? And if not, what do you think about Charles Schwab being down 10% today?
One, I don't look for those trades. I'm
Okay.
typically not looking for a bounce in a stock that's broken. So I that's where I lose money, Sean. So
Yep.
I stay away from those. From a supply and demand aspect, though, it makes sense to look for a bounce in those because you've got less supply easily available for the stock. So it makes a bounce more likely, I think.
I like that.
In terms of Schwab being down 10%, I have no personal feelings to it. It has been in a big uptrend. Looks like it's probably going to test this 200-day moving average down at about 66 and a quarter. So I don't know. It's a broken stock for now. I would say just leave it alone.
Yeah, I don't want to chase falling knives as well. I mean, we've done that too many times, and it hasn't worked out. And I think that that's something that I've really learned doing the show. Just buy strength, right? Buy some strength, see what happens at those actionable points, and then react to that. Again, another great point through all your writings as well. Okay, so we already talked a little bit about crypto there. We talked a little bit about the banks. What is your opinion? We just saw the RSP. Maybe we could talk about that. That is the equal weight S&P 500. It really seems to me, Brian, that we're getting a really broad market move right now. Every day I'm looking at what's been up or down sector-wise, and we seem to be kind of rotating. One day it's gold breaking out. We talked about that. Bitcoin, I mean, digital gold looks great right now. Even, I won't want to say this, but there's something called ARK. I know we don't want to talk about that. That seems to be making a little bit of a bounce. As expected, it's still not great. Biotech, industrials, everything's starting to go right now. What do you make of some of the broadening out here in the market?
Home builders, I'm looking at those. They're at an all-time high. They just ran, 15%
Right.
here in the last week and a half. It's crazy strength across the board. So, anyone who's fighting it,
Wow,
I
home
think, is a fool. The trend is your friend.
Right.
You participate when it's good and raise your stops up, protect those gains. The biotechs have been the best group for me because I kind of got in right as they started to move with some decent size and holding a good position in XBI. Got a little bit of the AMZN and a little bit of my Target Therapeutics left as well, which has just made a nice 50% move this month. So, we're in a great environment. Don't confuse brains for a bull market, as they say,
Right.
and raise your stops, but just enjoy it while it's here.
Great advice there. And you and I have talked about it, and I think you're the number one guest that I talked to this about, is being risk manager, right? I mean, I think that's trading is easy. Anyone can push buy or sell. It's where are you getting out? Where are you taking profit? Where are you taking the hits? So again, something that has to be on everybody's mind. All right, can we talk about a name that's going to be reporting next week, or actually July 24th? It's Chipotle Mexican Grill. A lot of people like to eat there, but CMG off of the split now, starting to fade out, and it hasn't had a good time, Brian. We came out at $70. Come over to the screen just real quick here, Ramina, if you can. There's a nice move down. We talked about this the last time you were on the show, and a quote from you was, this stock looks innocent, or we need to treat it as innocent until proven guilty. May be a good look here ahead of earnings coming in the next couple weeks. So any opinions now on what Chipotle looks like? I mean, there's a gap filled down here to 56. Looks like we're trying to do that right now. Again, maybe it's the same question. Maybe we don't trade this until we see the earnings. But yeah, looking like a nice downside move here in CMG.
Yeah, it's having a little bit of trouble with the year-to-date anchor, which
Okay.
is at about 58.5 right here. That's that thick blue line. Below that, we have the anchor from the move where this, began last November right here, and that would bring it to about 55. I'm reluctant to buy a stock while it's making this pattern of lower highs and lower lows on the intermediate term. After earnings, maybe that's the catalyst that, sees it gap up and run a little bit, then maybe do something like this, and then it can be trending back to the upside again. For now, though, I think it's, you can't sell it short after it's dropped from 70 to 55, and buying it in here just seems a little bit too early. I did want to talk just real quick, Sean, about a tweet that I made today that tied in with a stock. I didn't make it about that stock necessarily, but I was talking about SRPT, which is another biotech stock. And SRPT, I had posted on Twitter that, I like the way this one looks. It has it had the anchored volume weighted average price from the month to date that was trying to get a hole above. I bought it right over here. My stop was 151.02 or 151.20. And I was looking at it in here today thinking, well, it's right on the 20-day moving average. Maybe I'll hold this stock and see what happens. And I said, wait a minute. Every time I tell myself, no, I'll hold for a different level, I know what happens. I get a bigger loss. So I sucked it up and took the loss. And that's when I put the tweet out that says, every one of my biggest losers has been a stock that I held beyond my initial stop and justified holding it because of a lower perceived level. And good thing I sold out at 151 and change because it closed down at 140, 2 points lower. So I just wanted to make the point that, we're in an easier environment, but it doesn't mean every stock is going up, and it doesn't mean you let your guard down.
Thank you so much, Brian, for going over those with us. I also have a question. You mentioned it a little bit earlier when you were talking about biotechs, but there you have that TGTX, or I know you tweeted about this one earlier as well, saying that no matter what pattern it is, it kind of has that bullish look to it. You mentioned this one in the market recap before as well. I guess I was wondering if you could talk us through how you find these stocks that prove to be bullish or bearish on the short side, even without these patterns.
Yeah, great question. I really don't remember how I found this particular one, Adara. I found it after this gap right here. And I traded it in here a little bit, and then it kind of disappointed me because it fell below the year-to-date anchor, but got back involved here and back involved there. But I think what attracted me to it was I saw that it was a stock up on big volume, and then I saw, wait a minute, this is a biotech that just reported earnings. And I happened to, like the chart a little bit because it got back above the year-to-date anchor. I did a little bit of digging into the fundamentals and saw that they have a drug that was just approved with their first profitable quarter, that is, and a real large short position. So I thought the three of those things added up nicely together to say, if I can control risk in this stock, then I'm going to take an outsized position. And this stock has actually been my biggest trade of the year because I really sized up on it and have just a straggler position left. I sold a good part of it right here last week at 21.20, I believe it was. But I still have that straggler piece that my so-called just in case shares, and just in case it does exactly what it's doing right now.
We call a great trade there, Brian. We call those, you're holding on for a piece for the dream. You want to just hold on. See if something goes up, obviously, buy yourself a new shirt or something like that and put some money in your pocket. I wanted to ask you.
My shirt, Sean?
I do like that shirt. I got a little polo on right now. I like that shirt as well on you. Right there. All right, Brian, look, a name, the marijuana space. I want to look at CGC. So I just feel that this is, again, it got really exciting the last time we had a little bit of a presidential run there, debates, so on and so forth, as it's a topic that gets talked about. You being in Colorado, maybe you have a little bit of an insight on some of this as one of the first states to legalize. But I just dropped an anchor on CGC. The reason why I want to talk about that is it's a very volatile name. If you come over to the chart, we were just at $15 about 2 months ago. You're chopped in half right now. And to me, this looks like a decent base. I mean, we can wait till August 9th for earnings, but I just wonder if it's going to start to get heated up a little bit in the space. I put an anchor right down here at the lows, which is $3, and it's given me about $9 where to look at. I'm wondering if that's a decent breakout price to look at. We talked about some trades. I think it was NCR, like one of those nuclear names there with uranium that we looked at, sort of some of those anchors. And I know that was from IPO. But this seems interesting to me if we get a little bit of pressure to break through 9. Maybe we take a 10 and use 9 as support, but nice little move expected for CGC, at least I am, with this election year.
Yeah, I think, Sean, that unfortunately you're kind of getting a bounce with a declining 50-day moving average, which typically, in my experience, doesn't hold for very long. And that 50-day moving average is right here at about $8, and just about above that at 8.30 is this year-to-date anchor. That's the thick blue line, and you can see that's kind of been a battleground for the stock. So I think if you see the stock rally from 6 up towards that 8 level, a 33% rally, that it's likely, if it's going to be a good election stock, that it runs up to there, then maybe has a little shakeout, creates a higher low, and then perhaps it could get going, a little bit later in the year. But this move itself is getting a little bit stretched. I would say you want to protect your gains, but looking for it to move into that 8.5 area and then probably stall out.
You're getting a lot of credit, and so should you, of course, in the chat. A lot of people took XBI. You and I talked about that last week.
Good.
And yeah, it's really breaking out right now. I'm going to guess that we're probably still in this. But again, heading up to the highs, I always think it's reasonable to take a little bit out when we get up here. I'm assuming that that's something of an opinion that you may have, as we just talked about, getting onto some of that TGTX when you get back to some highs. But if I zoom back out here into a weekly chart, I mean, maybe we're just kind of getting going. There is some more upside right here in XBI. Any opinions now that it looks like we're breaking out on the daily?
Well, it's always my plan to say, where has it come from? When it runs from 90 up to 103, and it's getting ready to break out beyond this high. This was something I just mentioned to subscribers, 20 minutes ago, is that if it breaks beyond here, I have a 2/3 position left. I'm going to sell half of that balance right here.
Perfect.
And these are my current stops right now in that 2/3 position, half of it here and half of that 2/3 here. I had gotten involved last week over in this area, in this area, sold my first third right here at 94.5, which looked like I was giving it away, but I didn't know if it was going to do this.
Right.
So I'm just using the definition of trend, higher highs and higher lows. I'm going to be a little bit aggressive with that first, one third that I have left, and the other third, I'm going to give it a little bit more room, thinking that, well, if it can break through there and it doesn't stall out and continues to go, then yes, we've got the case for a much more bullish scenario on this weekly time frame. That's not the tool I meant to use.
That looks cool.
But if we get beyond there, I think that it's very reasonable to think that the biotechs can be up near 118, 120 by the end of the year. I think that's basically where they're probably going. That certainly seems reasonable, but I think the path looks probably something like this, that it's not going to go straight up there. So there'll be a lot of opportunities to manage around a position or to initiate new swings.
Yeah, we were lucky enough to start to buy some of that at the beginning of the year. And I always, again, learning from you, important to drop a year-to-date anchor VWAP as well on some of these things to see some levels. But I think, again, in managing risk, good job thinking about getting some out. And, stocks have a habit of making us all look silly. I mean, no decision we ever make is going to be perfect. I'm sure you understand, and we all understand that as we go. Man, I'm stressed out. I mean, that's why I ain't got no hair right here, pulling it out daily. I make 200 to 300 trades a day. I know that's a little different style than yourself. I wanted to ask you this. We've talked about this on the show, some questions. You trade mainly in the equities, or you dabble in options a little bit?
I do some options, and I've actually just gotten much more aggressive in trading options because I found a broker where I don't pay a commission and I get a rebate. I get paid. So that to me makes it a lot more viable in terms of being able to trade them, because there's a couple of things about trading options. Is you typically have a larger spread. You typically have to pay really kind of an outrageous commission, I think. And then you've got those fees on top of it. Instead, I'm getting rebates. So I look at that and say, now's the time to, be more aggressive. And for this market, Sean, where we're getting extended and it feels like, well, maybe we get a rug pull any day, you have less at risk. You can control your risk much better. And as you started out we talk about risk management, and that's our job. That's I think you've heard me say, that's my favorite quote from Alan Greenspan is, Alan Greenspan said, "My job is risk manager for the economy, and our job is risk manager for our portfolios."
Everybody's job is to go pick up this book. It is Maximum Trading Gains with an anchored VWAP. Of course, you can go find that at Alpha Trends. It's on Amazon. Maybe there's a Prime Day deal. I mean, Prime Day is going on right now. Go find it out right now. Maximum Trading Gains with an anchored VWAP. Brian, before I let you go, I mean, is there another trade maybe that you're looking at to get into? Maybe you've started to leg in. Anything that maybe I could talk to you about in a couple weeks right now? I mean, you've given so many great ideas on the show. I'd hate to ask you for another.
Sure. I mean, this NCNO, I put this on earlier today on Twitter. Unfortunately, it's kind of gotten a little bit extended. But if this NCNO pulls back a little bit and then gets going, I'd say you could buy it. It just broke out here today beyond that year-to-date anchor and the anchor off of that high. It's a profitable company. You look at the weekly chart, it's got room to run. I'm also looking at, but I'm not sure quite yet, I'm going to buy Qualcomm. If I did get involved, I'd probably need to see it settle down a little bit. Rambus is shaping up nicely, and I also put on Twitter today, AMD, that I think it's a little early. We're on the month-to-date anchor right here, but if we can pull back a little bit further in the next couple days, see that 5-day moving average flatten out, then by the time we talk again next week, Sean, this might be in a good position to buy maybe Friday or Monday of this week. So I'll continue to update that one on X, on Twitter, and we'll see if it can do that.
There it is. A lot of people appreciate those calls. And of course, Encino, a cloud-based a play there as well. Looks pretty hot there, trying to break back above. Okay, thank you so much, Brian. Thank you for staying late with us one more time. I hope the rest of your trades are profitable, and some of those picks sure look good to me. So thank you so much, Brian, for all the insight again. Everyone can go find it. Maximum Trading Gains with Anchored VWAP. It's our guest from Alpha Trends, Brian Shannon. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
Ciao.
Thanks,
there it is. Oh, yeah. We really like having Brian on.
Awesome.
Yeah, great individual, and nothing wrong with that guy again. Being as honest as you can be, I think we talked about that on the show. Having some integrity, right? Talking about losing on one trade, holding others, and that's what it is. If you don't stop out, you never know what's about to happen.
Oh,
yeah, we had a couple decent trades today, that is for sure. One of our best ones was this Amazon trade. It happened early. We did have a nice Palantir trade as well. Look at this Amazon right away off the jump. 196. It is Sticky Note Nation. You can go find that out. That was a big one for us on the Sticky Note today. 196 down to 193. But as clean as it gets in the first half hour. That was a good one. And then honestly, man, come at Palantir, and this is what's going to happen. Nice move to the down. Nah, who knows? Sometimes I lose on these. Nice move down in. We wrote down on the Sticky Note again. Let's hit that little icon. Down to 27.50. Actually, here it is. For those of you that are joining us, this is the Sticky Note. Let's go show it to you what it is. I'm sure everyone watching probably knows what it is. I talk about it enough. Right there, Palantir, 27.50 long. Picking it up on weakness with the downgrade. So a nice move there. Talked about that. We also talked about SoFi. What a nice day it was for SoFi. But there we go, man. Palantir ends the day up $1. We had a nice move. Fortunately, we got out there at some of the pre-market levels, so we only took about 70 cents on that. Then shorted, made a little bit of money there before it fell back in. That was a good trade there for us. Amazon. Oh yeah, SoFi. Let's take a look at this. This is a name that I really like. Starting to break out. We did the work on this one, breaking out through 7 yesterday and continues to play. Look at this. We wrote down today, SoFi, buy this name at $7. It only gets to 7.30, finishing the day up nice 6%. There's SoFi on the daily, looking to break through that 7 with the 50-period moving average on the daily as well. That's it, other than
Roll call.
Roll calls. We still have 1,900 watching, so thank you so much for staying late with us. That's really important. And this is the segment where we give thanks to everybody that's watching. I mean, they've been watching most likely all day, and they're staying late with us. This was a show that was developed for big earnings plays, bring you some excitement, and give you something a little bit different. Let's talk about names that have been traded throughout the day, names that report and give live quotes, so on and so forth. So I think we're doing a heck of a job, but we wouldn't be able to do it without everybody. So the first shout out goes to my main guy right over there. It is Bears versus Bulls. So thank you so much for that. Caleb Simon says Wizard. Yeah, Brian Shannon right there. Thanks, Brian, says Mark M as well. Daryl Flinch is here. One of the OGs in the chat is here as well. Oh, a big shout out. I see Brian. I thought I just saw Brian in here. Shout out to Brian Shannon, who's here as well. Neo Roberts, Dr. Strange is here. Michael P is here. Pineapple Undies, we talk about that. Those are fine as long as you don't have the spikes turned inside.
Yeah.
You know, pineapple a little spiky there?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
Just a bit.
What's up, Sebastian, right there? Yeah, Dara's tired today. We talked about that.
We are.
You are exhausted. A lot of trading there in the midday. So what's up to Anurag as well? Josh plays DFS. Good job on that one. Daily fantasy sports. So do I, but we wait for football for that one. Pepper Potts, one handle, 2 cups. That's a good one. Jamlo is here. The Piper's here. Farm Trader Adara's here as well. Miguel's here. V-Dog, and of course, Tarksa is here as well. Look, I've got 2 ladies here. I've got Ramin and I've got Adara. If we stay much later, that's not good news for me. So let's say goodbye on that note. This is Adara.
It is.
I am Sean. Go find us all over socials. I want to thank our good friend Brian Shannon, of course. Go pick it up. It's Anchored VWAP. Go over there on Amazon and grab that at Alpha Trends as well. Thank you, Brian, for everything that you provide for the show. Again, great insight and one of our favorite guests. So for all of us here at Trader TV Live, including Ramin, we will see everybody tomorrow. I won't, because I've got jury summons.
Chung chung, do, 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 do,
Hopefully. gonna put my hat on right now. We'll get that all ready to go. Wear a hat there tomorrow. We'll see what happens right there. Gold Blue Jays, who are really not great. For everybody here at Trader TV Live, I'll see you on Thursday, hopefully. And until then, ciao from us. Ooh, I like it.